Smaller conferences, but we're also going to cover the biggest guys as well. Richard Figueroa, a national champion a year ago, an early exit from the Big 12 championships. Eddie Ventresca, champ of the ACC. Matt Ramos, one of the great stories of college wrestling over the last couple of years. And Lightning Luke Lillidahl from Penn State, the #1 seed and a Big 10 championship as well. So Richard Figueroa against Rutgers' Dean Peterson here to get us underway. Figueroa, the redshirt junior, was a 12-7 winner over Cal Poly's Coda Holman in the first round.
Already see the guys they start wrestling their knees, and you want to match the head of your opponent. You don't want your opponent to be underneath, they can get a better shot to your leg. So when you see them go down like that in a three-point stance, you want to match the height of your opponent.
Peterson in his first round and his now third trip to the NCAA championships, defeated Oklahoma's Antonio Lorenzo. Last year, a number 16 seed here in this event, went 1-2 in Kansas City.
And Dean's been one of those guys. He's been knocking on the door of being an All-American over the last few seasons. He's been ranked as high as 4th in the country. He's been right there with the best guys at 125 pounds. And Richie Figs, what else can I say? Just savvy, very crafty, and one of the few guys, the returning All-Americans from Arizona State, that decided to stick around and remain true to his roots. He's still a Sun Devil and looking to repeat a championship this year.
And with all roads leading back to Philadelphia this year, last year was Sun Devils' first national champ since 2019, and Zahid Valencia, and their first at 25 since Anthony Robles here in 2011, and takes a 3-0 lead.
Not just that, it was continuous wrestling, defended it and attacked. It wasn't a defend stop, it was a fluent, continuous motion. Richie Figueroa up 3-0, really smooth on that defense, popped that elbow and came around.
Yeah, great counter offense there by Richie Figs. Dean Peterson with the errant shot, missed, head down, and Richie Figs was able to capitalize with some counter offense. Now he leads by 3.
The other thing that Figueroa did, he didn't create space. He stayed right tight. He didn't just spin around, make a wide swing. He just stayed right on the hips.
Figueroa last year, championship winner over Drake Ayala of Iowa, shaking off that right hand. So all attention on the mats in the middle here in this championship bracket. Luke Lillidahl, the #1 seed. He goes up against Blake West.
Nothing yet. And Blake West is rolling to the line and unable to find himself the safety of the out-of-bounds lines. Luke Lillidahl there from the rear standing position. Looked like he may be able to get out of bounds, but was able to finish right on the edge. Great finish.
Since the year 2000, only 12 freshmen have earned a #1 seed at NCAA's, Lillidahl among those. And the Penn State dynasty under Cale Sanderson started here in 11 as well. 14 freshmen since then have won a Big 10 title. 8 of them have wrestled for Penn State.
And you can see Lillidahl building confidence as the season has progressed. Right, came out early as a freshman and big expectations because of what he's done on the world stage. But he's taken a few lumps early in his career, but now he's looking like a savvy veteran. The way he wrestles, the poise, and the confidence that he's operating with fits right into that Penn State lineup.
That international experience just does so much to bring you to this level. And I'm sure you said it before that there's nothing like this tournament, though. You've been all around the world, but there's something about the NCAAs that just changes your nerves.
And it helps when you're surrounded by 9 other champions, like he is on the Penn State lineup. You know, it's one of the few teams to bring, you know, all 10 guys to the tournament. Just a lot of depth there. And that confidence that he's displaying is much of what he gets from being in a room surrounded by hammers.
Nittany Lions, one of 4 teams to bring all 10 wrestlers this year. Northern Iowa, for the first time since '86. Cornell, 2nd year in a row, and Ohio State rounds out that quartet. Lillidahl on the world stage, a U20 world champion at 57 kilos in Spain back in September, and won a world silver medal in 2023 as well, the U20s.
And Rock, you'll find this interesting in freestyle wrestling. If you're in this operating out of this 3-point stance like Richie Figueroa is doing here, they're going to call you up. They'll call you for a passivity call because you're avoiding wrestling. They want you to be up. It's almost like a strike zone. The higher you are, you give the ability for the opponent to attack, and you've got to use real defensive skills as opposed to just defensive posture.
I love it. Because you really can't shoot from the knees. You know, when you're on your knees or crawling forward. Now, There's a shot in by Peterson, and Peterson, unfortunately, when he was in, he went to the waist. You don't want to go to the waist. You want to stay low, and he's driving up, and he's getting the takedown.
Wow.
Peterson.
Powered through that position, right? That was one of those things where he didn't use the technique, maybe got out of position a little bit, went going to the seatbelt instead of staying on the leg, but was able to drive through and still get the finish.
Peterson 2 years ago, a loser in the blood round, was the Scarlet Knights leader with 25 wins, 1-2 last year. Hoping this will be his best year yet. Caution there on the defending champ Figueroa, a 3-1 lead for Lillidahl, the #1 seed of Penn State, over on the left side.
I like how Lillidahl uses his motion. He darts in, darts out. He has good lateral motion.
That's why they call him Lightning Luke.
I know, that's
he's,
right.
He's got continuous movement, good speed, good quickness, and really effective with his hands. Look at the counter offense, amazing.
Always in motion. It looks like he could get near fall, neutral danger, and I guess gets a takedown. When you get someone at neutral danger, you got to make them make a choice. Either give up the takedown or stand in neutral danger and potentially give back points.
So solid finish to the second for Lillidahl. Takes a 6-1 lead and almost a minute of riding time into the third period. Figueroa, Peterson, and it's Peterson on bottom, and he's got the lead to start the third. Sheldon Seymour of Lehigh, the 7-1 lead over Caleb Smith.
Just that Figueroa, he's telling everybody, I'm still the returning national champion, and we got a reversal. This is good television now.
Man, these guys look like two cats playing with a ball. Y'all look at the cradle! Look at the cradle!
What transition wrestling there? Just that flurry is all in like 20 seconds. He can just stay out right there.
He can lay out here. A minute and a half left. Oh! And there's a fall.
And that Scarlet Knight brought his sword to Philadelphia. Dean Peterson with the upset here at 125.
JB, we said it. There was going to be a big upset this round. Starting off at 125.
How about that? Dean Peterson, just a few years ago, losing in the blood round to, in the pre-quarters, sticking the returning national champion in Richie Figs. Congratulations to the Rutgers family.
And Rock, you and I were in Tulsa. Figueroa got eliminated by Tristan Doherty from North Dakota State, trying to reach the championship match there. So another unexpected early exit.
That was back and forth.
Let's go down to Q.
Lillidahl looking for the pin. I'm walking with Dean. Hey, Dean. Dean, what happened?
Pick it up, man. Pick it up.
Here we go. What happened?
Huh?
What happened out there?
I'm a better wrestler. What you mean? That's bound to happen. It's upset to the seeds. That's about it, not me.
Well, it appears they teach the Socratic method at Rutgers.
Let's go.
I'm the better wrestler. That's what happened. My man.
What do you mean?
That was Richard Sherman. Championship game.
Another All-American goes down.
Oh, it's Sheldon Seymour, the 5th year in his first trip to the NCAA tournament, and suddenly Seymour is advancing in the championship bracket. This was his first year even getting a shot at starting from the beginning of the season, and what a job he's done.
That's what you got to love about this tournament. Guys like this, difficulties in their seasons, challenging part of the year, and they step up big and put themselves in contention.
Well, part of succeeding in this event is having an unparalleled level of confidence in yourself, and Dean Peterson does not lack for confidence. Quint Kesnick all along with you. Back to the action here at 125. Eddie Ventresca with the advantage over Spencer Moore. And Nicola Rivera, the number 11 seed, hoping for an upset over Big 12 champ Jet Strickenberger of West Virginia.
Strickenberger has had a really solid season since coming down from 133 back to 125. Looks like yet another potential upset here. So, here's the situation, fans. McGowan has given up a stall point. So, with 9 seconds, he got a circle. He just can't go backwards. He's got a circle. Look!
Super
He got to the back! Is it enough? Did he get it?
That's three. That's three.
It's
Wow.
3 at the buzzer to stay alive for Vince Robinson. The theatrics just don't stop at 125.
Rock with the super duck. Untouched into the rear standing position. 9 seconds on that restart.
9 seconds, he should have just circled. We got to see that again. He's a redshirt freshman. The mental toughness, the ice to have that. His name is Vince Robinson.
Chicago's very own, the ACC champion this year at 125.
9 seconds, super duck got behind, and that's why you got to keep wrestling there. Brings him to the mat. There's no control yet. And then finally, control is established. That looks good. That looks good.
I don't know. If you go back and take a look at that, Rob, it looked like there was still a reverse lock.
Now,
that's the call.
Now they throw the brick out
There's a
there.
challenge break. If you go back, he still had the leg, right? So when Robinson cast his hips over, you could still see the reverse lock from McGowan on the leg before they had given the 3 points.
Now, was the hand still locked? Did he break? Because, again, reaction time when you get to this level. Now the question is, they're saying that the brick was thrown way too late.
Yeah, Princeton head coach Joe Dubuque throwing that brick from the green corner and having a conversation now with the lead official, Jay Cox, that he wants it to be looked at again.
Okay, they got to figure this out here. So there's the duck. Now we're going to look at, you said, JB, did he hold his leg? Is the arm locked?
Here, locked. His hands are locked. He's out to the side, so he doesn't really have significant control. He's not behind both arms. He's still out to the side. There wasn't a 3 count for a neutral danger.
Definitely no. So, the challenge brick by Princeton. Now, when that happens, the referees that you see on the phone right now, they are not looking at this challenge. They are articulating to the people in the back to say, hey, this is what Princeton is challenging. They're challenging that takedown. Now, what they're going to do in the back, they're going to have their different angles, and they're going to say, we agreed that it was a takedown, or no, it was not a takedown. So listen to the verbiage too. If they say the call stands, that means they don't have enough information to overturn it. If they say it's confirmed, they're like, oh, it's clear as day. So listen to what they said. Stands versus confirms. Confirms, no doubt. Stands says that we don't know.
Well, Q, who's yelling at who?
And now you got Coach Joe Dubuque going at it with Pat Popolizio of NC State. The issue here is, did they throw the brick in time? And the officials want to get this right. The question is, was the brick thrown at the appropriate moment? Here comes the call.
And it belongs to Robinson. The takedown at the buzzer gets the job done against Mark Anthony McGowan.
And listen, they said confirmed. So that means that it was obvious to them that that was a takedown. It wasn't, it stands. They said clear as day. Benny Ice, redshirt freshman, number 4 seed. What a start.
Jet Strickenberger, a national champion at the junior college level, and this year a winner at the Big 12s as well. It was a Big 12 matchup for him in the first round, defeating North Dakota State's Tristan Doherty 7-2. First time for Tim Flynn in West Virginia to have multiple champions since they joined the Big 12. And the first time since 2012, back when they were in the EWL. And he's up 6 here at the end of 2. Mat 5, it's another Big 12 matchup, and an important one. Troy Spratley of Oklahoma State. Cowboys starting this session in second place. And Steve O'Poulin, the number 10 seed, here with 1:22 to go in the third. Poulin from Northern Colorado, you'll notice, has brought back the hairstyle from his elementary school days that many clamored for. It's the mohawk that makes the return.
Way before he was wrestling on the big stage at the NCAA tournament, he was a little 8-year-old hammer pinning people in Western New York with that same exact hairstyle. He finds himself in the third period down by a point, and Troy Spratley, who was a Big 12 runner-up this year, awesome wrestler, and this is going to be a great finish. I can't wait to see it.
Well, these guys have known each other for a long time. Spratley grew up in the southern tier of New York, in Bainbridge, New York, and Steve O'Poulin, also from upstate, wrestled for Journeyman, run by Pat Popolizio's older brother, Frank.
And they had Ramos over here, one of the more longer 125-pounders, and he scores in bunches. he can do a lot. He can score from his feet, and he can throw you as well.
And a reminder, just a couple of weeks ago, it was Steve O'Poulin got pinned by Jet Strickenberger of West Virginia in the semis of the Big 12s. Spratley, for what it's worth as well. I'm sure if you follow the wrestling world, you heard about the wildfires in Stillwater, Oklahoma. And fortunately, the wrestling team there was okay, but David Taylor said the other day that Troy Spratley was out on some farm equipment just pushing dirt to try and keep it away from getting to his house. So it came right up to the edge of where those guys live.
It seems like Spratley has made a commitment that he's going to try to keep Poulin down. He's doing a left side tight waist. You don't want to turn into a tight waist because it gets tighter. And that's what Poulin did. He turned away from it. Because when you turn into the tight waist, it gets tighter. Turn away from the elbow. See, he's turning into the elbow. It just gets tighter.
Sinking that deep left-handed tight waist. And this is what we talked about, Rock. I asked you earlier tonight, if you could build a wrestler from scratch, where would you start him? You said on the mat. This is one of the most important X factors of the sport. Everyone can get good on their feet, get to takedowns, but in moments like this, short time left in the match, you have to be able to either ride or be able to escape.
Especially at the NCAAs. I mean, it's 2-1. You got to get able to get out, and Spratley has made a mental decision.
And look at that toe drag there.
He's saving every second of the clock that he can. The second-year transfer from Minnesota, who had a tech fall win in the first round, and the matches only get more difficult as you go along. He's trying to hang on for 15 more seconds. Ramos and Moran headed to the end of the first.
He needs one of your stand-ups, JB. Just stand up. We can't do the tripod. It's not enough times. Just stand. Yeah.
Hey, he heard you up here because that was a pretty quick stand-up. Looks like it was a caution there, but that's what he needs with these 15 seconds left. You do not want to create a scramble this late in a match. You need to get up and get out, look for a stalling call, or try to get to the full clearance.
Right up. He's got to get his hips away. Did he get it? Lock hands. Look. It's got to be reaction time. It's got to be beyond reaction time. So they're going to throw the brick. I know he's got to throw that brick, and he did. So you can see right here that Troy Nicholson, head coach of Northern Colorado, said locking hands. Locking hands, there is reaction time when you're on your feet. But on the mat, there is no reaction time.
And this is a really tricky position because when you're finishing rear standing double leg, you're used to locking your hands underneath someone's butt to put them down to the mat with control. And so there you have only a split second to allow his butt to hit and then unleash or release your hands and then start to climb the body.
We got to make sure, too, that Spratley's both knees were off the mat. They wasn't locking his hands while both knees were on the mat. If that's the case, that is a technical violation. So he does exactly what we talked about. Steve O'Poulin stands up. Hips away.
They were locked. They were locked. It depends on how much reaction time they're going to give him here.
That's exactly right. If they're on the mat, it'd be obvious. No reaction time. Here, was there reaction time? And looking at it, it looks like, wow, I don't know what it looks like. But let's look at Ramos. Ramos is using his length to get his hips away, and he's going to turn in. Look into the position. He's getting back points right here. What a weird position to get back points.
I don't even know what to call this. Rock, I'm not sure I've seen this move before, but he's got the leg hooked. He's got the almost high C on the far side. Wrestling with his hips up and in, and he's got that hamstring extended there. He's making it really hard for Moran to improve his position.
No locked hands.
So Spratley is a winner, 2-1 over Steve O'Poulin. That's good news for Oklahoma State. Second place behind Penn State here to start this second session, with an Indy Lions looking to make it 12 team championships in the last 14 competitions. This went from a scoreless match between Ramos and Moran to now 8-0. Ramos building his riding time against the highest seeded of the 6 Hoosiers here in Philadelphia.
Moran's looking for help from the official. The official says no.
So Ramos, the number 2 seed, in control. First Purdue wrestler in more than 20 years to get a top 2 seed. Lots more to come here. Seth Romney of the 4-team Pac-12, which named a new champion today. Runner-up there, Nasir Bailey of Little Rock. Looking to make a statement here. Has not lost since the beginning of February. Was 4th at the NCAAs last year. And Iowa's Drake Ayala was the best at 133 during the regular season and the national runner-up a year ago.
Buckeyes station, and he clearly has a bright future. Tom Ryan telling us that Sammy Sasso hopes to become a coach. We salute Sammy Sasso as the NCAA Wrestling Championships continue from Philadelphia.
Wrestling Championships is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts.
Action underway. It was a sellout, more than 18,000 in the building for session 1 earlier today. Our second of 6 sessions culminating with our championships Saturday night, 7 Eastern on ESPN. Here we are, 133. Lucas Bird of Illinois, the Cincinnati native, and the first Illini wrestler to be the top seed here at NCAA since Isaiah Martinez back in 2018. He's up early over Ryan Miller of Penn, and an 8-9 matchup sees Braden Davis in the lead over Maryland's Braxton Brown on the right side of your screen.
Lucas Bird had a really gut check first round match against Hunter Leak of Cal Baptist, and he had to ride him out for the entire period to get the riding time to win 3-2.
That was the 33 seed who gave him a run for his money.
He's tough.
And Lucas Bird is one of those guys. He doesn't exert tons of energy looking for points.
So he got a reversal there with Braxton Brown. Now they have to make a decision. Decision is, do we want to keep him down or we want to let him go? So at this point, they want to try and keep that Turk and try and lift it up. He's a little too low in that Turk, though.
Brown at 1:20 to go in the third, and his third NCAA tournament. Has never been an All-American, and that program continuing to rise under head coach Alex Clemson, looking for their first All-American since 2018, Rock.
And he had to cut him there, Rock, because there was a 2-second discrepancy between the game clock and then the riding time clock. If he would have ridden him out, he would have been 58 seconds, just 2 seconds short of actually having riding time. He needs a takedown, which will secure the win for him.
It's helpful that your coaches know math.
Are you saying because we don't?
To tell him, like, hey, you gotta let him go. Braxton Brown's got to continue to stalk, and he's got to make some fake shots. Just can't push. Lower his level.
Bird in solid control over 2 minutes of riding time, so an 8-0 advantage over Ryan Miller, the senior from Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, who knocked off Nebraska's Jacob Van D in the first round.
Brown has got to continue to shoot, because right now, Davis is just kind of backing up. And when you shoot the guy out, you got to shoot him out, because if you shoot him out and he turns back in, it doesn't help. 30 seconds, we saw this happen at 125.
And that's the first stalling warning for Braden Davis there. Down the front headlock. He's got control of the head. Braden Davis doing a good job of controlling the elbows, making sure that he...
Maybe a cement mixer coming up. Inside trip. Braden Davis doing a good job of just spreading out, keep his hands out to defend. Something's got to happen soon.
And I like what he's doing there. I like what he's doing there. Immediately after the head block, knee sprawl or down block, he's immediately bringing pressure of his own. Right? He's not allowing himself to be chased around the mat. He's keeping his elbows in. Good, solid posture. And right after he defends, instantly looking for a takedown of his own to put the nail in the coffin.
Now, some injuries have made Davis perhaps the most unpredictable wrestler in that Nittany Lion 10 this year, but he is 2-0 after a major decision to start and 2 points better than Braxton Brown. Quarterfinals are set tomorrow noon Eastern on ESPNU. Dean Peterson of Rutgers tipping over the table saying, I'm here, I'm ready to party. Jet Strickenberger got a missing. Quinn Kesnick, Mike Cousins along with you. A look at Mat 5 here at 133. Indiana's Angelo Rini trying to hang on against Northern Colorado's 5th-seeded Dominic Serrano.
He's going to push that knee up and pop his head. There to the side, run it. He made icy right there. Angelo Rini, number 21 seed, wrestling very well. Transfer from Columbia. Smart wrestling here. Nothing foolish.
Yep, nothing cheap. Needs to get down in the stance. Stay disciplined, circle.
Well, Angelo Rini spent 4 years plus 1 unenrolled on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. He goes to the best wrestling conference in the country. and has turned out a pretty good first 2 matches here. Major decision over the number 5 seed at 133. And on that 6, Seth Romney out of Cal Poly. Tyler Knox, Rock from Stanford.
Tyler Knox, very unique, but he's not very good in just creating opportunities. He just wants to get in there and grab and then start rolling. But Seth Romney's going to just stay disciplined. Down block, down block. Don't let anyone get to your legs. Oh. And that's what he wants. He wants to get in these situations.
And if you're Knox, you got to get your toe out of bounds. You got to be wise enough here, have the mad intelligence to know there's short time left. Get out of bounds, get a fresh start.
Seth Romney is a man on a mission this year. Redshirted as a true freshman. Last year, the number 11 seed at NCAA's went 0-2.
I don't know, Rock. I think that might have been clean. I heard the whistle when that shot came.
There's a caution on Knox.
Just enough to take that stall call. Still got to get a takedown to win the match.
It's the beauty of 3, but there is not enough time. Seth Romney heard the knocks. He did not answer, and he continues on in the championship bracket for a 4-2 win over Tyler Knox of Stanford. And really one of the breakout performances of the season this year to draw the number 4 seed.
A lot of guys on the West Coast.
141 coming up. Josh Coderhunt has only lost twice this year. Highest seed for a Navy wrestler since 2008. And the number 2 seed, it's Bo Bartlett in his 2nd straight year drawing that seed. And up top, Nebraska looking for a big weekend from Brock Hardy, who's coming off his first Big Ten championship in Evanston.
You got the Nittany Lion gear on.
Well, I'm a PA boy, born and raised. Never wrestled myself personally. My dad was a huge wrestler. Got me into wrestling when I was in college after giving up lacrosse, playing for 12 years. And I fell in love with the sport, even though I didn't do it personally. I love the energy, I love the mentality. And shout out to Coach Kale for what he's done with his program and how he teaches those kids.
What jumps out at you now that you're here at the NCAA championships?
Well, this is my first one. COVID had hit and we were going to go. And I've been busy on tour and everything, but this worked out in my scheduling. And I think being here, it's the energy. It's watching all these teams and how, you could have a great seed, up a number 1 seed, and it all could be over, just like March Madness. So I love this sport so much. You
got to write a song about wrestling. You got to write a country music song about wrestling. What's next for you in terms of your career and seeing the country?
Yeah, for me personally, in about 2 weeks, I kick off my Relapse tour in Nashville. Got about 20 plus dates. I just announced my fall tour, which will be coming up this year, and then I'm going to be going into arenas, which is insane to say. I haven't even been touring for 3 years yet, so God has touched my life beyond belief, my friend.
Congratulations, great to meet you, and good luck.
Appreciate
and thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I've got the first single title, Bloody Noses and Dirt Roads, ready to go for him. Here we go, 133, Nasir Bailey of Little Rock, his number 3 seed, the best in the history of their nascent program. And Drake Ayala with a 6-point advantage, closing in on the end of those first 3 minutes over Julian Farber of Northern Iowa. The Panthers, one of 4 teams to send all 10 here to the NCAA championships. Connor McGonigal of Virginia Tech, up over one of the 5 pairs of brothers here in this field, Evan Frost, the native Louisianan wrestling in Ames.
People forget that McGonigal is really good. It's just last year, he could not break Lehigh's starting lineup because of Crookham. A little shrug there. He couldn't break the lineup with Crookham. He won the All-Star match, but yet he makes the transfer to Virginia Tech, and number 6 seed, wrestling very solid. Tough one, Top.
And you're going to see a lot of Ohio, Pennsylvania, Oklahoma wrestlers in this field. Connor McGonigal is the only one from the state of New Hampshire. And regrettably, Rock, of course, as the wrestling community knows, but not everybody might, was that Ryan Crookham injured and not able to finish out the season for the Mountain Hawks of Lehigh.
Hopefully he gets well and can compete next year. He's a talent.
Well, Nasir Bailey on the right side in the black singlet. He's got the 1-0 advantage. He had a nail-biter in the first round against South Dakota State's Derek Cardinal, 9-8 in that first round match, coming off of a Pac-12 championship. last year, their first All-American ever.
Smart wrestling here by McGonigal, keeping his hips away. But Frost is going to keep coming. He's controlling the elbow here. You want to keep the head right in the middle. You don't want it to the side because that'll give a front headlock. Good move. He's trying to block that armpit.
McGonigal doing a great job of keeping his head square with Frost's belly. You know, he almost had to go behind. He was looking for an arm drag. McGonigal was able to slip his arm, grab the hamstring, attach himself to get a fresh start.
Just going backwards, nothing wrong with that. Who cares about a stall now?
Winners onto the quarters. Everybody you're watching here, 1-0 with a victory earlier today. McGonigal off the ACC championship, improving to 2-0.
Tough situation here with Bailey. Bailey gave up a stall, but he also gave up an escape. So you want to give up one or the other. Either give up the escape and not give up a stall, or the other way around.
Well, Bailey's got a unique style of wrestling. He's fast, he's explosive, athletic, and really relies on the timing of his speed and his double legs and single legs. Notice he'll play from the outside, doesn't really spend a lot of time in tie-ups. Usually head post, thumb blocks, circles, throws a fake in there to keep him off balance, and then tries to sting his opponent.
He's got a circle center.
Fugit from Wisconsin, an experienced competitor, a three-time high school champion in the state of Missouri, here after a red shirt a year ago.
And Fugit's doing a good job of cutting off the mat, keeping the butt of Bailey to the outside. He always got one stall call. And as you said, JB, you cannot use the out of bounds as a safety.
That's right, Fugit's cutting the mat off. Look at him taking ground, taking ground. Wherever Bailey goes, he shifts and works his hips over to make sure that he can't work himself back to the center. Bailey's already got a stalling call here, so Fugit, I'm looking for not only a takedown, but potentially just driving him out of bounds.
That gives him a little more time right there, that little half shot. Keeps the referees off your back. Looks like we're going overtime. Just like his tight friend, close friend from NC State, Vincent Robinson, it's going to be some dramatics. And remember, in overtime, it's sudden victory, their first point scored. So if Bailey has a stall call against him, the match is over. It's their first point scored. It's not necessarily a takedown. Number 3 seed.
So Bailey's being patient here. He's timing the fake, fake, fake. Get him off balance. Get him off balance. Get him uncomfortable. We're going to see a double leg. And now Bailey's going to have to start to chain these shots together. Fugit is prepared for the double. Got to stay down on the legs.
That's an action call there.
Toe's still in. He's got a seatbelt position. He's not through here yet.
Action call. What I'm seeing with Bailey, he's changing his lead leg. He's leading with the left, then a switch up to the right. He's not just leading with the one leg.
And we've got blood. And look at this. This is a tactic. This is a tactic. I know this. I've done this before, Ron. You point out the blood on the other guy to get yourself a break. I need a mental refocusing time. So I'm going to point out the blood. Even if it's small, no matter how subtle it is, I need a chance to go walk back to my coaches, put my arms up, get a little bit of relaxation, get some sweet words, and now get myself back to the center.
So off this, do you just go hard because you got a little break? Just
no. So what he's trying to do here is he's looking for the perfect point where he's going to get Fugit out of position. Fugit's staying down. He's also got a real nice, he's matching his head position. He's going for the toe touch. He's keeping Bailey off balance. And I noticed that. Look at the foot switch.
right.
He's going from right to left.
And that keeps your opponent from timing your steps. I got my left leg forward. You see the left leg lead, and then his right leg is lead.
And Rock, if I'm Bailey with 40 seconds left here, I'm going to start chaining them together. I don't want to go to the 30-second rideouts where things can get risky here. I'm going for the takedown where I can finish it now. Oh, and there's a counter.
And it's 3 for Fugit with the upset win.
Yet another upset in this second round. Every year you see it. He wrestled a great match. Fugit knew where he was, and he kept wrestling. Fantastic wrestling there by Fugit.
and he waited for the shots. Every shot that came from Bailey, there was retaliation, there was a counter sent back, and he was able to finish in the final one. Overtime takedown, beautiful win by Fugit.
You cannot afford to look away during this tournament. Fill your drink, hit the restroom while you can, because this is only our second weight class of the night. The NCAA Wrestling Championships continue tomorrow in Philadelphia. Quarterfinal round, noon Eastern on ESPNU and the ESPN app. For more information, visit NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. American action on the mats for you right now. A former national champion from Northern Colorado, Andrew Alirez, down 1-0 against Iowa State's Jacob Frost. And Brock Hardy, the two-time All-American Big Ten champion, up big over Wyatt Henson of Lock Haven.
Brock Hardy has really started to change and close the gap. He was always there for so long, but that Big Ten championship and how he won it and how he's wrestling right now, he's looking like he's really a contender for a national championship.
Time it happened, you want a hint? 14 and 15.
14 and 15. Robert Kokesh and TJ Dudley.
James Green.
James Green.
But one of two.
What you know about Frost? The Frost brothers, watch it, might get a crossroads tilt. The Frost brothers are solid in every position. They're solid on top, they're solid on bottom, they're solid on their feet. And with Alirez, his money shot is a sweep single to his opponent's right lead leg. And he finishes not on the mat, he finishes it high. He's able to time the hop of his opponent. Let's see if he gets to that single.
Alirez in the gray and white. Fewest matches of his career this year. Wanted to be fresh and healthy. Here's Frost going to work. Minute to go in the third.
And here's what we're seeing. Guys are missing out on finishing takedowns. Oftentimes in this tournament. And Frost still able to get it. Guys building up to the body, going off of the single leg a little too soon. One leg on the single, another around the waist. We saw the scramble position, but still Frost was able to find his way to the finish.
And Andrew Alirez left the Big 12s not exactly as he'd hoped. Went down in the semifinals against Tegan Jamison of Oklahoma State. Right side of your screen. And it's Cale Happel of Northern Iowa against Dylan Chappell of Bucknell.
It seemed like Frost has done it, and just, you may say it's only 8 now, but this is a returning national champion. This is a big win for Frost as well.
National champion a couple years ago. Alirez, who got the key to the city of Greeley, Colorado, took an Olympic red shirt last year. He goes down here, 6-1 your final. The right side of your screen, Happel working the number 5 seed, one of 10 Panthers, against Chappell, the junior from New Jersey, who knocked off the number 12 seed and the two-time All-American Sam Latona of Virginia Tech in the first round.
So you see the jacking here of Kodahan, and it's a cement job. We're in PA. It's a cement job. Popped in. He's blocking that knee, and where he gets it, this is tight. You had that military strength there. He readjusts. Watch him lower his chest. Chest to chest is where you want to be. 1 second fall. That military strength right there is real.
In second period, Kodahan, he had an overtime match. Sudden victory in his very first match of the tournament in a fall in the pre-quarters. He's got to be feeling good about that one.
Cale Happel had a pin in his first match today. Danny Pacino of Illinois on the losing end of that, with Happel coming off of the Big 12 championship as a fourth-year starter.
One of the things you notice about Happel, he doesn't do a traditional penetration step. He kind of drops and reaches. He'll do a snap single or he just drop down to a double. He doesn't really do a penetration because he's good from the hand fight and doesn't need to penetrate.
Tomorrow at noon, a Big Ten showdown at the top. Angelo Rini, the former Columbia Lion, his lone year in Bloomington, earns a date with Seth Romney. Zan Fugit goes up against Connor McGonigal, and it's Big Ten head-to-head. Ohio State's Nick Bouzakis against Drake Ayala from Iowa. Cale Happel, out of a wrestling family, has a 4-1 advantage here to start the third. His dad, Dean, a wrestler at Northern Iowa. His brother, Carter, wrestled at Iowa and coaches at Cornell College in Mount Vernon, Iowa.
And this is where he wants to be. He wants to stay here. And you see, he doesn't penetrate. He just kind of steps, grabs a knee dip. He can do that because he's in that hand fight. He doesn't need to penetrate when you're just right in the phone booth, so to speak. Right, just clap.
You're right, Rock. A lot of what he does is high-level attacks, either an outside step or just stepping on the foot, getting to a high-level attack. And now he's got the shelved foot, but he's got to continue to elevate the foot, look for trip. There we go. And this is great defense we're seeing by Chappell. He's into the key lock.
Got a stalemate there, potentially dangerous.
That's a good call. Now Chappell's got to get on his offensive movement here. He's having a difficult time. Happel is closing the gap. Right off the whistle. First touch. Happel always wants first touch. Builds his way inside to the collar tie. He'll start to dig underhooks to his throw-bys and other high-level attacks. But Chappell, down by a takedown, needs to get his offensive going.
Well, other than being a Cleveland Browns fan, life has gotten better for Cale Happel over the last couple of years. He went from being an alternate, losing in the round of 16, losing in the blood round last year, and now there is going to be work to do here if Chappell ties this up.
Okay, so
that's
they gave the takedown.
Yes. Takedown here, and Happel's still wrestling here. Got the escape. Chappell's got to do it again. He's got to get in there. He knows he can get a shot. He's got to do that. He's got to get a sprint going right now. Can't look at the clock. He just got to go.
There's no sense of urgency here, Rock.
Shoot. Not enough.
So Cale Happel, who grew up as an Iowa fan until he stepped foot on the Northern Iowa campus and never looked back, could have this be the greatest NCAA tournament of his career. A 2-0 start on to the quarterfinals tomorrow afternoon. First period of a Big Ten showdown. The number 3 seed, Jesse Mendez, against Sergio Lemley of Michigan. JB, though, to the point of you just said, urgency. If not today here at the NCAAs, then when if you're not going to do it late in the third?
This is the tournament. All season long, you're talking about March. Nothing else matters. No dual meet, no conference championship. It's the NCAA championships. These guys have prepared all season long for this, and you expect to see a little bit of hustle, a sense of urgency. You know that if you lose, you go back into the loser's bracket, and it's dangerous. It's treacherous down there.
Here's Mendez. Highest bonus rate among 141-pounders this year at 70%. Two-time All-American, 2024 national champ with a 3-0 advantage.
And how about Jesse Mendez? NCAA champion last year, 4th place at the Big Ten tournament this year, but still one of those guys that most guys don't really want to see. He's dangerous, and he's always going to give you his best effort. He's gritty, he's tough, and he's got great attacks to the body.
And he's so confident. He really believes he's that good. He just doesn't want to win national championships. He has world and Olympic aspirations. And we were just talking about it. It looks like it's probably going to be 65 kilos.
Three 3-0 in favor of Mendez at the end of one.
We were talking to some of the other Ohio State wrestlers, and they said Mendez is by far the most competitive guy on their team. From board games to anything else, race, he's just competitive.
And that's how you get these guys at this level. He chose the right place. In his corner, Jay Jaggers, 2-time NCAA champion at this very weight class, 141 pounds. The Crown Point, Indiana native, does it. Locked hands again, Rock. We keep seeing that position. That one may have exceeded that reaction time that we've talked about. Luckily, the refs didn't see that one if you're an Ohio State fan.
Yep, technical violation there. Definitely locking hands there, no question there.
So 3-1, Lemley on bottom. He's a guy who's very thoughtful. He keeps notes for himself from philosophers throughout the course of the season for inspiration. But this is no time for stoicism here. It's got to be pedal to the floor and leave the Marcus Aurelius for later.
Lemley, California guy. Look at it, just emotion. He's always wrestling. Mendez is still wrestling. He just doesn't stop. He's not doing wasted motion. There's a reason for it. I like that little windshield, get the head from the inside to the outside. Look for neutral danger, 90 degrees.
and very smart. Look at Mendez. He's elevating that far foot. So he's got the inside foot shelved on his hip, and he's got the left foot grabbing the toe, trying to expose it back. Now, he can't see here. Look, his eyes are down. He can't see where Lindley's back is, but he's waiting for the count. He's just using his auditory senses. He's waiting for the count. And now going underneath of the leg, he's got to shelf the feet. If you lift the feet, the head will go down. Circling back out front, hooks the leg, straightening out the hamstring. He'll push that knee over top. And there he's got his finish.
So much thought process as you work this through that, JB. When you get a single, there's so many things that are happening, and you just have to be patient. If there's ever something that high schoolers need to learn to get to the college, is not just mat wrestling, but how to finish a single.
That's right. That's right, Rock.
Game on. The journey to the NCAA championship features some of the top teams and athletes competing here in Philly, including a rare glimpse into Penn State's dominant program. David Taylor at Oklahoma State taking over there after 3 decades of John Smith at the helm. And a look at the origins of funk from pioneer Ben Askren and his protege Keegan O'Toole. Game on, streaming now on ESPN+, hosted by our venerable colleagues Rock Harrison and Sean Kenny.
Got to give a shout out to ESPN. They are behind wrestling. First time they had something like this on E60, and they were all in.
And I'm serious when I say this for folks who have not yet watched that program. The full strength and storytelling of ESPN, anytime you've seen any type of documentary feature, those are the same folks who are working on this to give the full weight needed to understand and really glorify college wrestling. Vance Vombar of Minnesota, the number 6 seed, 4-0 start of the third, and Bo Bartlett, the number 2 seed, in a close match with Julian Tagg of South Dakota State.
Vombar, he has a very exciting style. He does a lot of things well, and he's very crafty, creative, and you know what? I'd like to say unique, you know, just something different, you know, because wrestling is always evolving. Just because they don't do it the way they did it in the 2000s, 10s, 90s, 80s, that doesn't mean it's wrong, it's just different.
Vombar, a winner by decision, just 2-0 over Grayson Clark of Purdue in the first round. And Bartlett comes to Philadelphia, a 2-time All-American, has finished 2nd and 3rd, and despite having never won a Big Ten or NCAA title, looking to be a champion here in his 5th and final season.
And Vombar has made a commitment to that mat wrestling. Decided to keep Cedeno down. It seems like another Bartlett match. It's typically how he wrestles.
And by design, you know, he's a very smart wrestler. He's got high mat IQ, good intelligence. Notice him staying on the line, but not trying to get too far away. Notice that. He didn't circle his butt back to the center and walk back to the center. He circled away from the edge of the circle and then stayed in the safety zone again.
Right, he doesn't do a complete 180. He does like a 45 degree, or 90 degree rather.
And at this level, it's not about style points. It's win and move on, survive and advance.
And that is exactly what Bo Bartlett does to help out the cause for the Nittany Lions. This is tongue-in-cheek, just a decision, because they went 10-0 in the first round and had 9 of those victories with bonus points.
I think that's every coach needs to learn that in the vocabulary. Stall it and watch the knee.
Watch the knee. Watch the knee means basically my guy's in danger and I need a stalemate here.
Oh, he's still in control. He should have broke there. By driving into the knee, driving into the leg, he kept Vombar in control. Vance Vombar moving on.
Minnesota coming off a 4th place finish in the Big Tens behind Penn State, Nebraska, and Iowa. And Vance Vombar, the native of Greeley, Colorado, who had to wait his time behind Jake Berglund, is a winner and on to the quarterfinals. A couple of close matches, but it's the final result that matters most.
These lower-seeded guys are competing, and their Cinderella dreams are alive and well.
And the biggest upset of the first round was Jack D'Offrey of Virginia taking on Dylan D'Amelio of Ohio State as they're in short time in the second period.
And look at Geoffrey go. Signs himself in the pre-quarterfinals, up again 4-1 late in the second period.
Geoffrey took down the number 4 seed of Iowa State, Paniro Johnson, 5-2 in sudden victory. The Clovis, California native from the University of Virginia in his first year competing at the NCAA tournament. Left side, a minute to go in the second. And returning champion from Virginia Tech, Caleb Henson. It's blood time as he goes up against Jaden Abbas of Stanford. Good. And it's 3 for D'Amelio.
Ending the period on top is very important too. Now he's going to take bottom.
And Rock, that's one of our tactics in wrestling is score late, score at the end of periods. Don't give guys a chance to escape, create dicey situations. When there's 10, 12 seconds left on the clock, that's when you let it fly. Go get a takedown, don't give them a chance.
When you consider Caleb Henson, everybody knows he's really, really tough, but his in-match IQ is fantastic. He's able to adjust, get a feel of what's going on, and keeps it going. He doesn't get rattled, so when you're tough, you don't get rattled, and you're smart. That's a complete wrestler right there. Another double there by D'Amelio.
And look at Jaden Abbas deep on a single leg. Shelves it, gets it up to his feet. He's got the foot pitted.
Both guys are patient right here. Both aren't nervous right here. Maybe he's going to do a little swing down below. He stepped on his toe.
And now this is not a hard position to finish. He's got to stay on the ankle. Good, staying on the ankle, lifting it up, and great defense. That's strong hips by Caleb Henson. Squares his hips back up, finds himself in a front headlock position, stalemate, back to his feet. No points given.
Abbas of Stanford, the All-American 4 years ago, who lost in the blood round last year. And on the right side, it's D'Amelio of Ohio State, also a loser in the blood round last year, also a former All-American, finished 8th 2 years ago in Tulsa.
And we stress about scoring at the end of periods. That was so close to being one of those situations for Jaden Abbas.
Smart wrestling here by D'Amelio.
And right to the Navy rod. So he's got to elevate this leg. And he loses it, but it looks like he's got a cross wrist.
And it's right between the legs, too.
Love the roll.
3-point takedown. The match is not over. He's still attacking. That is how you continue to win. You don't pause. You keep attacking.
But now he's got to continue to wrestle here. He got to the leg, but then he planked. Look for stalemate. Now Geoffrey gets a fresh start. So here we're going to see a sense of urgency from him. D'Amelio's going to shut down, and Geoffrey's going to go. He's going to put together a bunch of sequences and try to get to the attacks.
D'Amelio's doing a good job of just backing up. just back up. No need to contact.
Solid defense.
Well, Geoffrey went down hard there at the end and concedes to Dylan D'Amelio. Great start, though, for the Buchanan High School product of Clovis, California. Same alma mater as 01 national champ Adam Tirapelli. So it's the Buckeye who moves on. And just a moment ago, the number 5 seed from Iowa, former Arizona State Sun Devil Kyle Parco, in on Ethan Stiles of Oregon State.
Good defense there, but also good offense. Edge to the outside. He's trying to move forward. He's got to drive forward.
Oh, and something might have happened there with his right knee. Let's go down to Quinn.
Stiles leading 1-0 in the second period, but it appears that Parco has severely injured his right knee. It took almost all his injury time, and he has been grimacing in pain. Kyle Parco's knee with the knee pad. In all these positions, you look at his face, he's in total pain. Kyle Parco is just fighting through enormous pain.
And Rock, you mentioned it earlier with blood time, that the referees take that time. How does injury time work?
Hey, look, if you don't have any more injury time and you call another one, the match is over. That's called injury default. So if he's used all his injury time and he calls another injury time, match is over because there's no more time to use.
And Parco's in trouble here. Just gave up the takedown. Stiles is looking for a bent leg Turk. He's really laying it on here. And Stiles has been wrestling tough all season. He's one of those guys that we knew coming into this tournament, you know, although seeded 12th, he was a dark horse. He was a guy that could mix things up with some of the better guys in the weight class.
He was a top 10 guy at some point this year. here's the thing. Everyone's injured in this tournament. It's how well you manage the pain, your will to continue to go. It's your last match of the night.
And here's the toughest thing about the position that they're in now. Let's say you're Parco, Rob, and you lose this match, right? So now you're in a different space mentally. You've also got to make weight again in the morning, right? So you got to get instantly on the treadmill, on the bike, lose 3 or 4 pounds. Oh, on top of that, your knee's killing you. And after a knee injury, the next day, it's always the sorest and the most stiff. So he's got a lot of things to think about this evening. But he can turn and reverse his fortune if he can score 4 points in this third period.
And a win always masks the pain. Let's not sleep Styles, as you said before, JB. He's been wrestling well this year. So it's not like we're shocked by this. Maybe those that are more East Coast and don't get to see the West Coast wrestling much, Styles has been strong this year.
Styles, Pac-12 runner-up against Jordan Williams of Little Rock this year, after spending his freshman year in a red shirt at Nebraska.
And Jordan Williams just came off of a win over Wazlewski from Penn. Pac-12 representing right now.
And Oregon State, due to, well, it's a long story, but if you want to look it up, eligibility, Oregon State today was retroactively named the Pac-12 champions rather than Little Rock, which was the initial champion.
Wow, this is rough. He doesn't want to quit, but at some point, when is enough enough? Seems like he's kind of conceded. I don't have enough in him. But let's give credit to Styles. Continue to wrestle well here. JB, you were making a statement earlier today about the transfer portal and how guys are performing, and then what does Iowa say after this? You know, guys that they brought in, and you know, they had higher expectations, and it just doesn't look like they're meeting their expectations.
Yeah, it's a tough thing that they're under. There's a lot of pressure for these guys to come to perform. When you're a hired gun, you go into a place like Iowa, they expect you to score points at the NCAA tournament. Parco and Teamer, incredible wrestlers. They've had phenomenal careers. Unfortunately, they've been bitten by the injury bug this year.
Well, the mantra of NIL might be money's not everything, but not having it is. Iowa had a lot of it, but they have not gotten the results they would have hoped for. 141 is set for the quarters tomorrow. Noon Eastern on ESPN. Brock Hardy, well-deserving of the #1 seed. We'll see.
With Mikey Labriola. But these guys have wrestled some generational talents. Multiple-time champions. Gabe Dean for Tim Dudley. Jason Nolf for Tyler Berger, and then lastly, Carter Sirachi for Mikey Labriola. These guys have just run into some hammers, but maybe Ridge Lubbock can finally break the curse.
It's a little bit like if you were ever a shortstop in the Yankees farm system trying to come up and Derek Jeter was blocking your way. You're just in the wrong place at the wrong time some years.
They were just born a few years too early.
And Whalen down 11. It's a caution on him to start the second for the New Jersey native, who defeated Ethan Fernandez of Cornell by decision in the first.
Cannon Webb's had a really good year. Redshirt freshman has really done a good job, and Michael Poeta, he's bringing it along in Illinois. He's really getting some good guys in, getting the people that he wants in.
And he was the first commitment to Mike Poeta after he took over for Jim Heffernan. 3-time Illinois state champion out of Toulon, Illinois. Same high school as Iowa's 5-time All-American Jacob Warner.
And JB, didn't you wrestle Poeta?
I did. The NCAA Championship Finals, 2009. That was my junior season. Mike Poeta was actually my favorite wrestler when I got to college. I used to watch him like, man, I never understood. He was my favorite wrestler, that is, until I got into his weight class. And then I realized that I was going to have to compete against him. But done a phenomenal job. They had a great Big Ten tournament. And what I like about Cannon Webster, just very physical. Look at long arms, big hands, just physically designed to be a great wrestler. Gave Ridge Lovett all he could handle in the finals of the Big Ten championships.
Sure did.
And for the redshirt freshman from Illinois who grew up outside of Peoria, he has been a dozer here in the first 2 rounds. 16 combined points. And 8-3, a winner by decision over Colin Real Buto to send him into the consolation bracket. And Ridge Lovett is a takedown away from a tech fall. Right side, it's Penn State's Shane Van Ness against Andrew Clark of Rutgers.
Shane Van Ness does that often too. He's able to defend by just squatting and just kind of just attacks the corner without penetrating. I mean, 149 is top heavy. Ridge Lovett, Shane Van Ness, defending national champion Caleb Henson. It's like that at 174. 174, O'Toole, Hamity, Haynes. 184, Kekheisen, Starachi, McAnally.
Heavyweight too?
I mean, these top three guys, and good point there, Mike. It's just, there's just that separation.
Well, during the regular season, Shane Van Ness had the highest bonus rate at the 149-pound weight class. Add on to that, coming out of Blair Academy in high school in northern New Jersey. That's the high school with the most wrestlers in this field this year, 10 of them out of the 330.
Well, if you guys remember last year, there was a very controversial decision made in the semifinal with Ridge Lovett and Caleb Henson. Do you remember in that third period, Ridge had choice. He could go bottom and look for the escape, neutral, look for the takedown. He chose top.
Yep.
He chose top. So he was going to have to ride him out for an entire 2 minutes, end up coming back to bite him, and then he did the semi-slide.
Yep.
Couldn't get himself back where he needed to be mentally, and went from being close to wrestling for a national title against Austin Gomez, who he had beaten before, to being in sixth place finisher, and now Caleb Henson is who he is. This game is very treacherous.
So is wrestling on the edge of the mats.
And head coach Mark Manning said that he took that. He said that he's got to coach better. I love it. You defend your wrestlers. You don't say that was his decision. Like, I got to do better. That's a coach. That's all about his team members.
And it's difficult when you're in the moment, because when you have a guy like Ridge Lovett, you're establishing so much trust in who he is and what he's been capable of. And so in moments like that, he gives you a look, you give him a look, you say, what do you want? Right? It goes from, hey, this is your choice. I'm going to let you take it, but I'm still going to take the blame for it. That's what a responsible coach does. Coach Manning's one of the best to do it.
Q, what are you hearing there at the table?
Well, still neutral. They looked at it. The officials initiated their own challenge. And in terms of Ridge, didn't think he looked good this morning, but he's made a major step forward. And that's one thing I think you learn at this tournament. That first round, there's a lot of nerves, a lot of jitters, and some guys will come out right after that weigh-in and underperform. And Ridge certainly underperformed this morning, but he's bounced back today and looks like himself. And I think it's a positive if you're a Ridge Lovett fan.
What he just did there is just called a feel. Can't put that into words what just happened. Just a feel. To get the takedown and tech fall. Looking good, Ridge Lovett.
A bonus for Lovett and Nebraska. On his path to try and become a three-time All-American, his second Big Ten title this year. Rock, here we go, full screen between Sammy Alvarez of Ryder and Lachlan McNeil of North Carolina. Multi-time All-American, one of the best in the ACC.
Lack McNeil. The one thing that he's got to work on, is getting better at, is he's got to create his offense. He's very good when people get in on his legs and he's able to sit the corner. But when you've been wrestling as long as he is, everybody knows that. They know that Lachlan isn't going to really shoot too much, but he's gotten better at that. And Alvarez, he's been around for a while. This is his first national tournament.
And Alvarez, how about his journey? This is his third school. Started at Oklahoma State, transferred to Rutgers, and now finds himself at Ryder, another New Jersey school. But one of those guys who was a phenomenal wrestler at St. Joe's in New Jersey, and just hasn't been able to put it together at the right time. But he knows he can wrestle with some of the better guys in the weight class.
And he's attacking, which is good. Good job by just the awareness by McNeil. Left side, right side, feeling the body weight shifting.
That was great. He was like a dog on a bone there, shifting his side and getting the foot up, getting into a pit and just holding on to it. No need to look for the finish.
Do a fake trick.
So Lachlan McNeil, the only Canadian here in the field of 330, on to the quarterfinals tomorrow, 149 pounds. At 157 pounds, well, we get another great wrestler from the ACC, Rafael Hippolito from Virginia Tech, relatively new to the sport, not ranked inside the top 8 all year. The number 3 seed, the winner of the Cliff Keen Las Vegas this year, and an All-American is Antrell Taylor of Nebraska. Meyer Shapiro of Cornell. If they want a team trophy this year, they could use a huge weekend from him to get yet another. The number 1 seed finished third at 149 last after a Pac-10 championship in Corvallis, Oregon. Anthony Robles, a national champion at Arizona State at 125 pounds. Also the most outstanding wrestler at that year's championships, our colleague. And it's been more than just that, though, for Anthony. An inspiration to so many over the decades. And now is here in Philadelphia, coming off of his movie being released, the book Unstoppable, and this year the movie out on Amazon Prime. And he'll join us Saturday for some of our coverage here as well in Philadelphia. Dedicated high school wrestling coach, a dad, and Anthony Robles. Always glad to see him here at the NCAA Championships as we welcome you back inside the Wells Fargo Center. Session 2 of 6 on the weekend. Tyler Kasak of Penn State against Cody Chittum of Iowa State. 5-2 lead for Kasak with a stall warning against the Nittany Lion.
That 2011 national championship, JB, you had a lot of storylines ahead of you. You had Robles, and then David Taylor got pinned, and then they were like, all right. No one was even thinking about your match.
I was way far down the pecking order that year. I'll never forget. The 2 national championships that I had won were right behind the biggest matches of the tournament.
That's right, 49.
So in 2009, when I won it, it was when Darian Caldwell upset Brent Metcalf, and then in 2011, when I won it, was right after Bubba Jenkins pinned David Taylor. No one cared about my matches in those 2 years.
Taylor, the runner-up that year when the dynasty really began for Cale Sanderson and Penn State. Quentin Wright was their lone champion at 184 that year. And now they've had as many as 5. Last year, the biggest scoring margin between first and second place ever at a clean 100.
See, Rock, that's the stuff that's hard to teach right there. That's grit, that's determination, and flexibility, and amongst all the other things, but it's just refusing to give up here. He's continuing to wrestle through the sequence. He's got to be uncomfortable. Look at his left hamstring wrapped around the back of Kasich, his right hamstring being extended, and he's still not giving up. He's got the leg, looking for the leg pass. I don't see any exposure yet here, Rock. Now he's in trouble. Now he's in trouble.
And he had to bail out. If he didn't bail out, he would have given up back points.
Hey, what? Did you see that? It looked like he thought about Granby roll, but his hips are kind of elevated off the mat.
He just caught him. He held him in the air for a little second. That's got to be wicked strength that Kasich has.
Well, remember, Kasich was the guy that lifted up Ja'Cory Teamer in the air with one arm and flexed with the other arm. So he's definitely got that core strength.
And he is perfect this year, save for an injury default that he could not finish a match with concussion symptoms, but ended up as a Big Ten champion and did not allow a takedown in the entirety of their dual season. With the Nittany Lions stretching their dual winning streak to 5 straight years now.
Now you may say 8-3, but remember, it's a 3-point takedown makes all the difference in the world. I'm seeing more and more of those headpieces with wrestlers that have had concussions. You'll see it with Meyer Shapiro, Kasich, Sonny Santiago of UNC. Guys are being more careful about head injuries.
And look at that future Penn State Nittany Lion, PJ Duke.
That's right.
Right in the background. He's going to be a guy that we're going to be hearing about from very soon, and I imagine that he's going to be on the big stage someday.
You just wonder, where is he going to fit in? He's got to go against Kasich, Mitchell Messenbray.
Right side, sudden victory. First score wins it here between Tommy Askey of Minnesota and Joey Blaze of Purdue.
2 Big Ten guys going at it. Oh, I love it. It just slides that, you know what? Slides leg in, still wrestling right on the edge.
Walks him out, that's smart.
Blaze, nice season, finished 3rd in the Big Tens against Askey, who transferred in to Minnesota this year after start of his career at App State. The left side, Brandon Cannon of Ohio State, Caleb Fish, the Oklahoma State transfer in from Michigan State, late in the 2nd, and a 1-point lead for the Buckeye.
Good shot. Yeah, look, the step over.
and he hooked the top leg instead of the bottom leg, which may have cost him there. Joey Blaze with the cross ankle pick. He's gonna have to get his hips square to the mat. Oh. And now he's gonna elevate. Look at, he's switching hands. He's got the left tight around the ankle, straightening out the leg. Now he's gonna need to shelf his foot, elevate it up off the mat. Good, now we talked about this. Don't go to the waist, stay on the single leg. Pull him back to the center. Now look for the trip.
He's got that foot right in the armpit. No way he can do a little lip leg. And he still got the lip leg out, but that's a stall.
Is that a fleeing, Rock?
Now when you kick out of that and they both got it bound, it should have been a stall, so I didn't see if it was a stall call or not. But when you kick out and you both go out, that's a stall. Still going at it.
Oh, we got a body lock over here. Body lock and Fish. See what we can do with it.
Good takedown there. He's up.
Caleb Fish trying to become an All-American for the first time. Trevor Chumbley of Northwestern in 2 minutes of sudden victory. That's not enough against Rafael Hippolito.
You said that Hippolito hasn't really wrestled that long, 5 years or so.
Big background in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for the Hokie.
But then you have a guy like Chumley, who's run that gauntlet of being in the Big Ten. Does he know? Can he get it done?
Chumley already had one upset win. Number 13 seed Jared Hill of Wyoming got by him 2-0.
Oh, wow, this is good. Both wrestlers are still wrestling here. Both are in overtime. To our left, sudden victory. To our right, it looks like we are in. Looking to be like we're going to be into the tiebreaker.
And so here's the thing about overtime, Rock, is you want to take the risk, but you also understand that if you miss, right, you serve to lose everything. Guys are here, you see they're being a little more tentative. They're being hesitant with their shot selection. Very smart. They don't want to go until they absolutely know that they can get to the leg and get a clean finish.
He's got to kick away.
That's got to be 5 seconds.
He's going to get a stall call. It doesn't matter. Now he's got the advantage in the riding time. But he's got to keep him down. So Blaze has got to keep him down while keep the riding time going. There's the...
Another stall. See, that's wise. It's almost like grounded. Almost like grounded in freestyle.
It's actually 2-2. The score's not right. It's 2-2. It may look a certain way. It's actually 2-2, fans. So you're saying what's going on? Well, the score is actually 2-2 with Joey Blaze winning.
And he had the riding time advantage, Rob.
He did.
So Blaze gets the win. He and Matt Ramos each earned top 10 seeds for the Boilermakers this year. Blaze last year is a true freshman at the NCAA's, 0-2 with both matches going to overtime. So he has a penchant for 7 minutes, not being enough of a constraint. We've got a challenge now between Caleb Fish and Brandon Cannon on a call of near fall points. Let's take a look at our pin zone.
And there's the Husker, Antrell Taylor from Omaha, Nebraska.
You have time to
gets to the underhook. He's got the over-under position, controlling the wrist, throw by, pancake to the back, and look, he's looking for the fall. He's got to get his chin on that shoulder, chest to chest, elevate the head, and there's the fall.
Not so sweet for Swisher. Antrell Taylor gets the pin, an All-American last year, and changing weight classes this year, more comfortable for him. Cliff Keen champion this year as well. The bracket is set at 149 pounds. Well, it's an upset special there, that number 2 spot, Rock, with Ethan Styles and Dylan D'Amelio.
Yep, you just don't know, but both guys, Dylan D'Amelio is a returning All-American. Ethan Styles has been a top 10 wrestler. Hey, that's a good match right there. moving down Shane McNess, 2 national prep guys, Wyoming Seminary and Blair, and then Cannon Webster, Ridge Lovett, Big Ten action.
And Henson, your national champion, returning from a year ago. So they're into the first tiebreaker on the right side between Rafael Hippolito and Trevor Chumbley. And it's gone back to central replay review for the challenge thrown in the match on your left between Brandon Cannon and Caleb Fish.
Very important. You continue to wrestle through these last 19 seconds. You wrestle, don't stop wrestling here. Even if there's a score there. Oh, that was almost... Oh, okay, so that was a good brick there because Hippolito left both of his feet and were behind the knees. So that could be an illegal hold there. So they're going to throw the brick out there. And we have to see, did Hippolito leave his feet and put him on the back of the knees or the calf? So I think that's what they're looking at right now. But let's see if we can see that again in that Hippolito Chumbley match. Because it looks like he left his feet and did a little illegal kickback with both feet. And if he did that, that's the illegal hold. That's a long challenge there with Cannon and Fish.
Stretching into a couple minutes now for that one on the left side.
So watch, he's going to leave his feet. Did he leave his feet?
I'm in the Ohio State corner. Tommy Ryan, head coach, what did you challenge?
On the reversal, after we reversed them, we felt there were back points right after the reversal. We think they were just a little late getting to the reversal, so it was back points as well. And then Fish, the Oklahoma State wrestler, came off his back, and we put him back on. So we're looking for another 2 backs.
Why is this taking so long?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Why it's taking so long? Let's see what they're called here.
Tom Ryan led his Buckeyes to the national championship back in 2015. And a very astute breakdown of what's going on.
Same time. All right, so interesting scenario here. So
that benefits Chumbley, right?
It definitely benefits because even if Hippolito gets 1 point, and no, if Hippolito escapes, he still has a riding time.
Yeah, he wins. So Chumbley needs to ride him out the entire 30.
He has to ride him out the entire, right.
Or cut him and get a takedown.
Look, good wrist control there.
Wrist control. Baseball grip. He had the 2-on-1. Smart. Chumbley didn't keep the hand or the leg down on the mat where he was going to be starting a count. He brought it up to his feet.
Oh, man.
And that's a fleeing. I'm looking at that. If he's scooting off of the mat, trying to avoid wrestling and get a fresh start, I'm looking at that as a referee and considering it a fleeing call.
They wanted to call it, they would say stalling, you're avoiding the action. But bottom line, Hippolito's got to get out. He's got to get out and score. If he doesn't score, looks like Chumbley did enough. It was that illegal hold that did it. And Chumbley is moving on.
So Trevor Chumbley, the graduate student from Northwestern, an upset over the number 13 seed to start here against the number 4 seed. And in his pursuit to be an All-American for the first time here at his 3rd NCAA tournament, he is well on his way.
Hippolito, first NCAA championship, just started wrestling right before high school. Or right in high school. OSU, OSU.
Riding time not a factor, just 12 seconds in favor of Cannon. It will be headed to another set in victory. 22 seconds, they'll be back to their feet. Fish, like Chumbley, who we just saw, he's in his 4th straight trip to NCAA. He's looking to be an All-American for the first time.
You can see the coaching of David Taylor to go behind. They do go behinds like you wouldn't believe.
Arm drag, arm drag, arm drag. As soon as your opponent misses, he's looking for the arm drag go behind. Sending counters in return and never just letting him off the hook.
Two very even-tempered coaches.
Back to the body lock. This is where he scored early in the match. He's going to look to step inside.
Candy's got to attack it now. He can't get scored.
Whoa, baby!
That's a way to make a statement.
And another brick. Hold on, Rock. We got a brick from the Ohio State corner.
That's a great question here. I don't know what the brick's for, because maybe he slammed him too hard.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. I love having these open mics. You hear Tom Bryan going off.
He threw a challenge bricks just so he could give the referee a piece of his mind.
Q.
I think the words, you robbed him. He pointed to his wrestler, Brandon Cannon, and said, you robbed him. He's asking right now, I want to know who's upstairs. I want to know who's upstairs. He's fuming.
He's been doing this for a long time, but he said that's the worst officiated match he's ever seen.
And although the coaches might not do it, the wrestlers end it with a handshake.
Stepping in, a little old school Magnum TA belly-to-belly suplex. And that's how you end in overtime. And look at David Taylor. Yeah! Moving on to the quarterfinals.
Wrestling championships. Last year's third place finisher at 157, Meyer Shapiro, and Johnny Lovett knocked off number 18 seed Ja'Cory Teemer in his first match, a fifth-time qualifier. 30 wins this year, most of anybody in the 330-man field, trying to be an All-American for the first time.
And he looked sharp against Teemer. And many of y'all saying he knocked off the 18th seeded wrestler, but he would return to national finalist.
And it was a major decision, 11-3.
These guys have wrestled before, and Meyer Shapiro said that Lovett is the strongest guy he's ever wrestled.
He is strong. I saw him at baggage claim at the Philadelphia airport on Tuesday, just taking with one hand all the bags off for his teammates. True story.
What I love about watching Meyer Shapiro is he chains together his movements very well. He's got a lot of complexity in his wrestling. You'll notice he'll go snap, over tie, snap, and then he'll come and dig the underhook, throw by, looking for an ankle pick or a far knee pick. A lot of good chain wrestling. And look at how he builds his hips up underneath of him. Crackdown position, getting up to his feet. And somehow, back bridge, back bend, comes out the back door and finishes for 3.
You're not supposed to do that.
That's why he's got that pad on top of his headgear.
Well, you remember here last year, he left a match with concussion symptoms. He was the Ivy champion this year. Only wrestled 12 matches this year, but a 75% bonus rate, best in this weight class, and trying to give Cornell a finalist for a 16th straight tournament.
Keeping that left foot in to accumulate the oh-so important riding time and to end the period on top.
That's right. Look at that foot. That's the only difference between them being inbounds and out of bounds. It's just that toe being inside. He runs out the remainder of the second period. Close to riding time.
So he gets in on the single, and instead of cutting the corner, he arches his back and then torques his body to lock the second leg. And that's just a feel. You don't teach that. It's a feel.
Full send.
So not surprisingly, it's a headgear issue. He landed right on top of his head. 8-4. Rock, what's going on in Maryland? You only got Meyer Shapiro as one of 2 qualifiers from your home state of Maryland.
I say only, but the one we got is really, 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 really good. Product of the Woodbine area. He's been all over the place. When I saw all over the place, he would travel to get more competition. Meyer Shapiro, he's really, really slick.
Yeah, started his career at the Bullis School in Maryland and finished up at the Powerhouse Wyoming Seminary.
It helps so much to have long arms. He has a tight waist.
See that?
And able to get the half on the other side.
Oof. And is always comfortable on his back. Most people are tentative and hesitant before they roll across their own back. Notice he'll go sink that deep tight waist, almost hip deep, hip in the pocket of Lovett, sink the half, and then take him straight backwards into that crab ride position, looking for that high half.
Now, Jordan, you would think that a guy like this that rolls on his back a lot wouldn't be good at freestyle, but somehow he's able just to stop that, you know? He's a world champion on an age level, but then in a folk style, he's able to expose his back. Like, how is he able just to turn it off and on like that?
Well, I think a command of position, body awareness. If you watch any of his Instagram, YouTube videos, you'll notice him on the yoga ball, right? He's that guy that he's on the yoga ball consistently, moving, flipping, and doing things that most people can't do. He's developed a rhythm and a flow and body control that helps him in any style. Again, mat wrestling, Rock being the X factor. Johnny Lovett, all he needs, if he can get an escape, 8-5. A takedown, we're 8-8. We're sending this match to overtime, but he spent the last minute and a half on his belly. And Shapiro doing a great job riding here on top.
Meyer Shapiro showing off the flexibility of a ballerina, the strength of a lumberjack. Looking to get back to the podium, make it 2 trips in 2 years. Two-time conference champion, and he just did not let go in this final period.
Whoa. A little extra. He lifted that armbar up a little high. You know, just a little bit. He said, you did something. He did that, so I did that. Yeah. And he's talking to the other coaches, explaining why he was doing what he did. Okay. We have some words. We have words. Yeah. Okay.
It's all love, right? It's all love. It's like that sometimes, Rock. You know, it's like that sometimes. You get into this position, you got emotions running high. This is a fight with rules. This is the only college-sanctioned combat sport. We're out here fighting, but we're trying to do it with respect and sportsmanship.
List already.
Yeah, how about that? Chumley, Fish, Bianchi, D'Amelio, these guys are proving that it doesn't matter your seed. We hear the old adage 0-0, but these guys are really making it known tonight.
So underway here at 65, Cam Steed of Missouri and Cam Amin of Oklahoma State against number 5 on the right side, Julian Ramirez of Cornell and Christopher Minto of Nebraska. And we saw Cam Steed of the Big 12s put in a great performance. He is scoreless the end of 1 there against Cam Amin.
This guy, Chris Minto, he's really been a good discovery for Nebraska. And right in on that shot. But the thing is, he went to the waist, but now he's following it just enough. He's got to run his feet now. He's got to run his feet. He stayed on his things. He's got to run his feet there. And
that's great wrestling by Ramirez there. Look, he's still in on it. Arch.
No control there.
And he's in the seatbelt. He's trying to throw that leg on the far side, but if I'm Ramirez, he's got to realize his mat position, have some awareness here. If he rolls, simply can get the feet of Minto out of bounds. What a great sequence. Great wrestling by both of those guys.
Both wrestlers. Ramirez has always been that round of 12 guy many times over. He's from Miami, and we asked him, why would you go to Ithaca? You know, you enjoyed the warm weather. He said when he was looking at college sports and college wrestling, he said he did a Google search. What's the best school for wrestling and academics? And that's how he decided on Cornell.
And how about this? Guess where Christopher Minto is from? Florida. We got 2 Florida guys. One went to Ithaca, New York. The other one went to Lincoln, Nebraska.
Both cool.
I'm sure they had to buy a coat the second they touched down off the plane.
You know they don't put on the brochure is what schools have the fewest days of sunshine per 365.
But hey, wrestling's done inside all the time, no matter what. And so these guys have done a really good job thus far. Like you mentioned, Rock, Manning's really hit on Christopher Minto. Relatively young man. At the beginning of the season, the starter for Nebraska at 165 pounds was Bubba Wilson. He's a guy that's been to this NCAA tournament, placed in the Big Tens on multiple occasions, and was a veteran at this weight class. And Christopher Minto came and supplanted him, and now he's putting on a show here tonight.
And just looking at Minto's frame, it looks like he's not going to be at 65 all of his career.
And Julian Ramirez, the Ivy League champion, first year of the Ivy League tournament. They break away there from the EIWA, and he's never been an All-American, but he's a top 5 seed for the 3rd straight season.
He said he's going to wrestle more relaxed. Good shot there. Head on the outside. Minto seems very comfortable right here.
Yeah, we're seeing some different finishes, Rock, right? Typically, you would step out on the outside, and look, he's head-hunting. And Minto,
he's trying to pass it, but what's happening?
Look at the toe. He had the toe hooked behind the head, almost like a half Nelson with his foot, preventing Pinto from getting ahead in the position, but high head wins in the scrambles. One of the things we teach at our wrestling club is you elevate the feet. When things get troublesome, you elevate the feet. Where their feet go, their head must go the opposite way. So you raise the feet, the head goes down.
That's good teaching there.
And watch that knee. Look at the knee there.
Okay, calm down. We know what that means. We know what that means.
Oh, look at this. Rock ends up in there. He's got the ball and chain tilt from that crazy scramble. Ends up in that position. That's a 7-point sequence.
Now imagine if the referees listened to you and called for the stalemate that you wanted.
I'm like, just kidding, guys. Just kidding.
Left side of your screen, don't count out Cam Steed. He had a match-winning takedown, 7 seconds left in the first round after a run through the Big 12s, including an upset of top-seeded Terrell Barraclaw of Utah Valley to get to the finals of the Big 12s.
Amin does, the way he wrestles is very, not conservative, but very stationary, straightforward. And he's just tough, he can do that. The length of Minto, when you have long arms, it helps you on top and helps you on your feet too.
Yeah, big body, big frame here for 165 pounds. And look at this. Looks like he's exposed and he's in danger. He captures the wrist between the legs of Ramirez and then comes between the arms to secure the near fall here. He's got a ball and chain. Ramirez is exposed, and it looked just a second ago like he was going to be scoring the takedown. What a reversal of fortune. That's a 10-point swing there from being down or up 4-0 to being down 7-1.
Now Ramirez has been in a situation like this before when he wrestled Alvin from Colombia. He was down, he got put on his back early and came back to win. So it's not like he hasn't been down before and on his way. Oh, that's really tough right there. He's grinding that face. He's working hard there. But he's got to turn him a couple times, look for a pin, and Cam Amin, quarterfinalist.
Multi-time All-American, transferring in from the University of Michigan to a rejuvenated Oklahoma State program. A Big 12 championship this year, looking for their first national title winner since 2021. Minto is up 7 here a minute to go. Am I going to make a house divided here if I tell you that Minto's college choice came down to Nebraska and Virginia? Your alma maters?
You know.
Looks like he made the right decision. You know what I love about Minto? When he got the escape here, he's still on the attack. I don't know if bonus points are on his mind, but a sense of urgency here for his team. He noticed that Nebraska is second place right now in the team race. Every point matters here to secure a trophy later on in this tournament.
Jordan, he's up 7, but he's still insisting on going upper body. Isn't that kind of risky and dangerous?
Yes, dangerous, but that takedown right there secures the major decision. That's an extra half point here going into the later rounds. That's really going to help these guys, put them in position to win a trophy. Second place, everyone's trying to fight for a trophy. It's hard to catch Penn State, but a trophy is equally as important to all of these other teams.
And we say this all the time. You don't want to go defensive. Do what you were supposed to do that got you there. He scored a lot of points, and
he's looking for more. He's looking for more. He was looking for that roll-through tilt for a second.
Absolutely. Good job.
And that is yet another double-digit seed moving on to the quarterfinals tomorrow noon Eastern on ESPNU. Christopher Minto over Julian Ramirez. Penn State in first, Nebraska in Matt Cast, Shane Sparks, Trent Hidley in the booth just to our left here. If you want to follow a team, you want to follow an individual wrestler throughout the course of the tournament, that's your best bet. We're showing you the highlights here, but there you can see everything on ESPN+. The national champion Keegan O'Toole down here in the first against Lorenzo Norman of Stanford.
Lorenzo Norman is really good. He's a lower seeded 16 seed that could easily become an All-American. He has the long body, very athletic. Talking to the Stanford team and also the Stanford coaches, they said he should be playing D1 football somewhere, but we're lucky to have him wrestling.
He really made a name for himself this season. Went into this month with just one loss, which was by 1 point against Dean Hamady at the Cliff Keen in Las Vegas. Against Keegan O'Toole, moving up to 74 this year after winning 2 titles at 65. A Big 12 title this year, winner by Penn in the first round with the best bonus rate, 88% of anybody at 174.
Smart, wise. I like how he lifted up that ankle, drove him back down to the mat.
He's wrestling with confidence already. But everyone that I've talked to about Keegan O'Toole just said he is so smart, very cerebral. Holding that hand.
He's playing the game well.
Yes.
Look at elevating that foot, keeping the knee on top of his knee, and really playing the game here. Dropping down to the ankle when necessary. And now he's got to start to shelf this. I believe his count's going to start.
Yes. But the riding time is also going up as well. He's at 59 seconds of riding time.
And there's a first stall warning on Lorenzo Norman.
One thing that we see about Keegan, he always wrestles throughout the whole match. But we've seen throughout the early career of Lorenzo Norman that he has the propensity to fade towards the end.
And Keegan O'Toole is making him work hard here. He's making him work extremely hard, keeping him down, dropping down to the ankle. Notice his hands are right back on him. And look at that flow, look at the movement.
This is a critical time. A takedown by either one really changes the dynamics and the strategy of this match.
And there's not a ton of roadmap, fellas, to beat Keegan O'Toole, who's 104-4.
And you typically don't see guys go up in weight class and still use their physical prowess. And look at Norman back on the leg again. Hooks the knee.
Keegan O'Toole is fine here, but what he has to do is push that leg down, get that head to the side, and continue to, he's got to flatten his hips out. He's got to hide his shoelaces. Always want to hide your shoelaces. When you don't hide your shoelaces.
He's got it covered though, Rock. This is 3. He's got hands locked around the legs, underneath of the butt. He's got the leg hooked. This is 3 here.
And they finally award the 3 for Lorenzo Norman.
Lorenzo Norman, he's a problem. The length is a problem for many people. When you're smart and know how to change the gap in the distance, it's problematic.
And Lorenzo Norman is athletic. He's long. He's got good offensive attacks. And who's the guy that's given Keegan O'Toole the most problems in the last few years? Is David Carr. David Carr. Very similar styles. Got an escape. That's huge. Rock, that's huge. Going back with the restart, 3 seconds left, he was able to get the escape.
Okay, so what did Lorenzo do? He took neutral. So he's got the riding time in favor. He's gotten 2 takedowns. Wait. Now he switched. The coaching staff told him to take neutral, but then he decided to go down. Why? Because the coach said so.
Well, because he knows he can prevent himself from getting turned, right? So here's the problem. O'Toole is going to need a takedown no matter what. He gives up the escape. He knows if he gets a takedown, he's going to be able to shave off the riding time. But he's going to need to work. He's going to need 2 takedowns in this period here. So
this is where Lorenzo Norman has got to go back to what he's been trained to do. Because how many times do you teach your kids, hey, what do we do with 1 minute? How do you wrestle? How do you defend? How do you stay center? You're right. This could be a big deal here. You can't get lazy there.
And with a riding time over a minute, his lead is effectively 8-3.
And so if I'm Lorenzo Norman's coaches here, I'm telling him, hey, stay in the center. Control the wrist. Get a control tie, Rock. Collar tie. Get to the wrist. Keep your butt in the center. although stalling calls won't really hurt you, no errant shots. You don't have to shoot. Hold position and prevent yourself from getting taken down.
And he gave him a stall call and a 1 point. Wow. So now it is a takedown match. We saw this at the Big 12 championships. Keegan O'Toole's back in it. Cerebral. Now, is he going to ride him out?
Looks like he's going to cut him again.
Is he going to ride him out? Big decision time here. He's under riding time. Smart wrestling here.
Right, take it under a minute. Take away that point.
Typical Keegan O'Toole here. You know, just very smart.
And Norman laboring to the center. It's taken him a long time. Look at O'Toole. His feet are already on the line, waiting for Norman to get back to the center.
And we said this before. We said that he fades. He fades in matches. And Keegan O'Toole is being Keegan O'Toole.
The four-time All-American, the two-time NCAA champion, facing the deficit with 2 minutes on the clock, and as calm as they come, trying to ride out the third period and pick up the win.
And look at the adjustment he made. He was down 7-3, gets 2 takedowns, both the same, duck under to the left side, and beautiful wrestling, smart, confident wrestling there. He knew exactly what he needed to get. As Norman faded, he started to come on stronger to secure the victory. That's what champions do.
Now, many of you are watching this match and said Keegan O'Toole, and you know what, he was the number 16 seed. Lorenzo Norman is bound to do some great things in his career. Cerebral.
Well, O'Toole, his only loss all of last year was to David Carr in the NCAA semis. A two-time NCAA champion. There he is with head coach Brian Smith in his 27th season. Let's go to Q with Keegan O'Toole.
Keegan, you showed a lot of poise. What was going on in your mind when you were down?
Man, he's tough. He's really good. He's long. But I just had to keep moving forward.
Nice job.
He kind of echoed what we were saying up here, that we knew Lorenzo Norman was very good, but Keegan O'Toole is just that much better. Look at the finish of this. Pop the hips, seals with the takedown, and then gets the ride out. Keegan O'Toole on his way to continue to wrestle hard and become a national champion yet again.
And still more to come from the 174-pound weight class. The guy who has been oh so close during the course of his career, Garrett Thompson of Ohio. And boy, does he have a nice seed this year. Highest seeded MAC wrestler on night 8 Eastern on ESPN2. Two-time All-American in 3 previous trips to the NCAAs. Dean Hamady up huge over Matthew Singleton of NC State, a top 5 seed. And every NCAA tournament he's been in, one of the biggest pickups in the transfer portal this year. And trying to close this out with an excess of 3 minutes of riding time here in the third.
Big difference from their dual meet where it's kind of a tighter match. Dean Hamady has shown that there's been separation big time.
Let's take a look at 2 other matches going on right now. Center of the floor here at Wells Fargo Center. And you've got Simon Ruiz of Cornell up 1-0 over Josh Ogunsanya of North Carolina. Cade DeVos with a 5-2 lead, hoping for a double-digit seed upset over Garrett Thompson of Ohio.
UNC really liked the seed and where Ogunsanya was. And the multiple-time, 4-time national champion, Yanni Diakmahala, said that he is really, really high on Ruiz.
So Thompson to his feet. It's 5-3 on the right side of your screen. A huge year. The first Bobcats wrestler to earn a top 4 seed since Jake Percival was seeded 4th back in 2004.
And those of you that don't know who DeVos is, he's a returning All-American. So it's not as if he's just a nobody.
He was one of 4 Jackrabbit All-Americans in Kansas City last year under Damian Hahn. DeVos said this summer took his training to a different level. Good action, and it's 3 on the left side there for Ruiz. As the big red wrestler goes up 4-1. Cade DeVos not only accomplished on the mat, but academically as well. He's going to get his doctorate in pharmacy.
That's impressive. if you've ever seen the wrestling room of South Dakota State, it is the nicest wrestling room I've ever been in. It is beautiful. Right adjacent to their football field, they have a big screen out there if you want to watch a football game. It's
the
a
home
nice
of
facility.
Daktronics, yeah. I'm taking it you visited in warm weather.
It was warm. It was warm.
If you've ever been to Brookings, South Dakota in the winter, my goodness, there's a wind draft that chills your bones. I like what Kay DeVos has been doing today. Wrestling extremely, got great mat awareness, understands exactly where he needs to be, really strong on top. The mat wrestling has been the X factor in these matches here. Guys everyone's good on their feet. Everyone understands how to get to a leg, get to a takedown, defend, but it's the guys who can get riding time, secure it, and keep guys down late in matches are the ones that are finding success.
You high school coaches, elementary school coaches, hear what we're saying. Mat wrestling needs to be taught. It needs to be a lot of time, because when you get to this level, it's mat wrestling. That's the big separation.
Kay DeVos a winner by decision over Garrett Thompson. And the freshman Simon Ruiz with the advantage 4-2. Short time in the third for the two-time New Jersey State champion.
Stay there. You see him keeping that foot in? Smart wrestling there. And just drop down to a single. Big win there.
Well, that's big. And there have been freshmen as of late who have had a lot of success rocking their first NCAA championships. Yanni in 2018, Vito in 19, Meyer Shapiro finished third last year, and Ruiz well on his way. That's a lift for Cornell as well. Currently tied for 9th in the team standings, with Penn State still sitting atop everyone else with 34. Are seated top 4 at their weight class. Nebraska has jumped from 4th to 2nd here. Oklahoma State under David Taylor in his first season with 22. Ohio State and Iowa, the two teams that have broken up this championship run by Penn State, round out the top 5. And we've got a double Penn State situation here at 74 and 84. Levi Haynes against Gavin Sachs of Oklahoma, and Carter Starachi attempting this year to become the first Division I 5-time champion. Already piling up points against Shane Cartagena-Walsh of Rutgers.
These guys are so solid, and they're not like dynamic like a Meyer Shapiro that does all this stuff. But what they do, it's so well, and they know what they do. They stick to it and keep a tremendous amount of pressure on their opponents.
Yeah, look at them side by side. Hips in, pressuring on the opponent, keeping them on their belly, forcing them to build up, leg slips in, now working with the hips.
And Starachi, one of 4 #1 seeds for a second straight season for the Nittany Lions. They've had at least one top-seeded wrestler here at the championships every year since 2016. Big question for them is, can they get 10 All-Americans this year, among other records they're chasing, in some cases breaking their own. We're the only team to do that, the 2001 Minnesota squad, that did it without the benefit of a national champion. And Levi Haynes taking over 74s. Carter Starachi moved up, and Haynes summarily did the same, leaping 2 weight classes to get the #2 seed this year. You guys been watching Carter Starachi's press conferences lately?
I have. He's got a unique form of confidence, right?
Well said.
To say the least. I think he's got a warrior-like mentality, and he's like the Russian from Rocky. If he dies, he dies. He's putting an immense amount of pressure on all of his opponents, and he's playing a psychological warfare battle with these guys. Not only dominating them physically, but he's getting into their heads mentally. Before he steps out on the mat, they're already intimidated, and he only reinforces that after the first whistle.
He was saying stuff like, I'm not wrestling them, I'm wrestling their dad, I'm wrestling their coaches, I want to dominate everyone. It's not about being good for 2 or 3 years, it's about doing it for half a decade as he goes for his 5th national championship. But he backs it up, he backs it up.
I mean, when you say it like that, I've been good for half a decade. When you say it like that, then wow.
It's not bragging if it's true.
Yeah.
He's had a tremendous career.
They, as a squad last year, set the team point total record. A couple occasions 5 national champions. And Starace, a winner by Tech Fall.
To your left, you have Jackson Smith and Reese Heller, guys that are really exciting to wrestle and watch wrestle rather, just because they do things that are pretty cool. When you see Jackson Smith, he has a really good super duck, and Reese Heller, he will just pass legs, slide up. He's a very unique wrestler. I like the contrast and similarities that they bring.
Reese Heller of Pitt.
Good snap run corner. Look at him. Oh, he's got the cradle locked back up. He went for the elevator, but stayed on his butt, and that caught him in danger. That's a fall.
Oh,
and look at him
tight.
readjust. Look at Smith readjust there. Now he's got to take that left arm, and he's got to try to walk it toward his head. Right. He's going to elevate the head, place the shoulders down.
And that is 2 matches and 2 pins for Jackson Smith of Maryland here in Philadelphia.
He's like a boa constrictor. When he gets a hold of you, he starts to envelop your body, and then he just gets tight and makes it really difficult for his opponents to fight off their back. It's so tight, you almost want to get pinned just to alleviate the pain and pressure from that position.
That's generally what happens when you pin somebody, that they say, let me get off the mat.
So in his 3rd NCAA tournament, a loser in the blood round last year, trying to be an All-American this year. They have not had one since the heavyweight Yusuf Hamida finished 8th in 2019. It was 1 and 2 last year in the blood round 2 years ago. Lower scoring match here for Levi Haynes.
Most of the times, Gavin Sachs wants you to shoot on his right leg. He puts it out there hard and is able to create some opportunities for stalemate.
Haynes born with good genes. His dad, Ken, was a wrestler and a soccer player at Lock Haven. His mom, Amy, a 2-sport athlete there as well. And he's put in the rest of the work here, winning his 3rd Big Ten title this year and looking to be a national champion for the 2nd time.
Gavin Sachs with that hard right leg lead. He wants his opponents to shoot on that leg.
Yeah, he's not moving it. You're right. Even when Levi Haynes is tapping at it with his left hand, he's like, here, you take it. You take it, I'll give it to you, and then I'll create a flurry or a scramble. He wants to be attached to Haynes. He knows that as long as Haynes is out front with head position and controlling the ties, he's going to have a hard time scoring points. Nice shot. Now look at Haynes, patient here. He's going to try to pit this foot. Sit to a hip, maybe walk back toward the head.
Sachs is a tough guy to wrestle.
Blood time for Sachs, the Missouri native, graduate transfer from North Dakota State, competing at the NCAAs for the 2nd time.
Gabe Arnold's in some trouble here with Foka. Foka had a lot of cradles before when he was All-American, when he took 3rd. Open it up. Takedown near fall, 7-0.
7-0, what a big start for Chris boy. Shout out to the Red Nose Wrestling Club. Chris Foka, man, he's been right there. All-American. And this Cornell club, I tell you, they've done a phenomenal job at bringing out the best athletes, bringing out the best in their athletes. And great mat wrestlers. You know, watching guys like Ramirez and Foka and what he's been able to do.
So back out of the blood time, it's Haynes with 10 seconds to go in the 3rd. Setting himself up, he hopes, for a collision course on Saturday night with the #1 overall seed at 174, Keegan O'Toole of Missouri. So Penn State in the first session was 10-0, 9 wins with bonus points. The margin's a little bit smaller here, but it's a perfect 18-0 for the Nittany Lions, still in first place in that team race with 97 and heavyweight still to come tonight. Fargo Center at 184 pounds. Silas Allred of Nebraska on the right, Bennett Berge, South Dakota State. And on the left side, It's DJ Parker of Oklahoma and Max McAnally of Minnesota. 3-1 match in the first.
McAnally moves very well. He played football running back in high school, and many times we talk about how wrestling helps your football and helps you with your stance and getting in as an offensive or defensive lineman. He said that football helped his wrestling because all the drills and the choppy feet that they did as a running back, he said that's helped him to move around. So he's used football to help his wrestling.
You think he did that drill? Oh, I can't think of the name of it, where you get up and you collide with each other. What's it called?
It's the Oklahoma drill.
Oh, thank you, Jordan Burroughs.
Look at, he's wrestling from someone from Oklahoma. DJ Parker doing a really good job moving his feet. Look at the athleticism there. McAnally's been aggressive with his attacks, and DJ Parker's did a fairly good job of neutralizing him outside of the first takedown. What I like about McAnally is he's not scared to let it fly. He's going to go out there and he feels that he should be here. Although just a freshman, he's wrestling with the confidence of a senior.
And you watch him wrestle, I think he's one of the best bonus point accumulators any weight class around the country, and he did that in his first matchup against Colin Fegler of Lockhaven in the first round. 3-1 at the end of one. Silas Allred, the Cornhusker, 1-0 lead against number 5 seed Bennett Berge, one of 9 Jackrabbits in the field for South Dakota State, but the only single-digit one for them.
We need more of this on mat number 1.
Berge, a returning All-American, 5th seed.
How about the way he did it last year, Rock, too? He lost his first match and then won out the rest of the way to get to the podium.
And Allred came down in weight.
Yeah, Silas Allred, the Big Ten champion last year at 197 pounds, did an All-American tournament. Moved down to 184. That pushed Pinto down to 174 to make room for freshman Cam McDaniel at 197 for Nebraska.
How nervous do you think his corner was for Silas Allred in his first match today?
Ooh, down 10-1 early in that match. It looked scary for a second, but just continued to weather the storm, chip away at the lead. It was ahead 14-13 before finally securing the fall to get the bonus points.
And you all don't see it right now, but Chris spoke a major decision. Gabe Arnold, 12-1. Good shot.
That's a boost there for Cornell, sitting in 6th at the moment. Spoka picks up that victory after he had to fight off the number 27 seed, Ross McFarland of Hofstra, winning just 5-3 in the first round. Spoka hoping to get back to the podium for the second time. A couple of blood stoppages in this Allred-Berge match. 1-0 so far, and McAnally by 1 with a riding time advantage late in the second. And a national champion, a 5-time Big 12 champion in purple, Parker Keckheisen of Northern Iowa, facing NC State's Dylan Fishback, the 15 seed.
And Rock, I remember specifically last year, we talked about who's the best guy in the tournament, and we were all saying, well, you know, maybe Carter Sirachi or maybe Levi Haynes, and you said, no, it's this guy from the University of Northern Iowa, Parker Keckheisen, and he finished off the season undefeated, capped it off with a national championship, and here he is back again undefeated, this time though with Carter Sirachi on the opposite side, but still looking like that strong champion he was of the past.
Thank you for the credit, because DC never gave it to me.
I heard you're still waiting for DC's invite to WrestleMania too, Rock.
You did say that.
Well, we're going to put him on the stand tomorrow. Get him under oath. 59 seconds in the first. Keckheisen. He and Dayton Fix of Oklahoma State, who left the sport last year, the only 2 5-time champions in the Big 12. And so McAnally goes down here with the advantage. Parker has work to do, 2 minutes on the clock in the third.
Parker's wrestling very well.
Very nice mat return. And what's the call here? They're going to give the 1-point escape, which is huge. That's important if you're McAnally. And look at Parker. He's signaling to his coaches, hey, he's grabbing my fingers. It's potentially a violation. Coaches say, hey, get back out there, get to wrestling. You're going to need a takedown no matter what. McAnally's still got riding time secured. Parker's going to need to get to the legs and look for a finish here.
one of the things that you notice about Parker Kekaisen is that he wrestles very well on the out of bounds. Where you think that it's a dead situation, he will continue to wrestle through that. And it's the first time that McAnally has been at the NCAAs, and you just don't know what's going through their mind as a freshman.
Yeah, it's tricky. Their performances, valleys and peaks, right? This guy was in the Big Ten Finals in overtime against a four-time national champion in Carcerati. Here he finds himself in a battle with McAnally, or excuse me, with DJ Parker from Oklahoma. But with that takedown, looks like he's going to secure the victory. He's already ridden really well on top. He's going to try to ride him out here to finish this match with a victory and move on to the quarterfinals tomorrow.
Well, what would you do if you were the coach here? You know, you have a freshman, you just want them to continue to win, but you also know you need bonus points because you want to get a trophy. Do you say let him up or keep him down?
No, it looks like he's going neutral. You're right, Rock. This tournament, at this point, he realizes that he's really done the bulk of the attacking. He's been offensive, and he really doesn't feel any threats from DJ Parker. So he's going to go out and try to put some more points on the board. He's got riding time secured to take down here.
And that's what we talk about Parker Kekaisen. On the edge. His edge wrestling is so astute. Look. You would think that he would just give it up by now. Just good wrestling there.
Still nothing yet. Still nothing. Oh, they've given him the 3. So once he hits the hip, he pulling in on the ankle, knocks Fish back to his hip, secures the 3-point takedown, drags his toes, adds some additional riding time. Very smart wrestling there.
What makes somebody a solid wrestler on the edge of the mat like Kekaisen is?
Mat awareness. He's aware of what he is, and then when people want to relax a little bit, he keeps wrestling. He's always wrestling hard, and he's not just wrestling hard, he's thinking about it. When when someone's trying to get out of bounds, he goes to that baseball grip, moves it forward, almost like a fishing reel.
Start of the third period, and it's Bennett Berge of South Dakota State up 3 over Silas Allred of Nebraska. Huskers now sitting third in the team race, 1 point behind Oklahoma State. Penn State 13.5 points clear of the field.
That's a good shot there. And you got to continue to...
Look at the way he popped his head out there. That was beautiful wrestling. Found clearance, went from the head inside single, popped his head outside, and now along the edge. Silas Allred's got the crotch lift and he's scooting his hips, looking to sit corner and maybe hook the foot. And if you're Berge here, you understand exactly where you are. Stalemate back to their feet, protecting these guys' legs. And I love about Berge is he's still attacking. He knows a 3-point lead is not safe with these 3-point takedowns. He wants to go put the proverbial nail in the coffin by getting this final takedown, going ahead 7-1, giving himself a little bit of comfort and a cushion in his lead.
He's getting his head back. You see how to go to that S grip now?
Yep, and look at Allred doing a great job. Ear to the bicep, builds up to his feet. Gets his hands, and look for a little bit too soon, maybe to switch for the cradle. And Berge's able to find his way out. He's got to pull the ankle. That's 3, that's a cradle here. And he's looking for back points.
That could be a fall. That looks like a fall to me.
Wow, Rock, wow.
Edge wrestling. Edge wrestling. Whoa.
So in his first match, he's down 10-1, goes up 14-13, gets a pin, and yet again comes from behind. 2 wins by fall for Silas Allred of Nebraska.
That's massive. That's massive. That's one of those times we talk about being savvy. You cannot give up a cradle there. Not only did he give up the takedown, but also back points. Takedown takes you to overtime. Back points send you to the loser's bracket where you're in the consolations.
All right, Q's on the run.
Hey, Silas, down 10-1 this morning, and next thing you know, you've reeled off 2 wins. What clicked in your mind?
Belief and desire, you know. At the end of the year, everyone's hurt, everyone struggles, and, you know, by the grace of God and some divine supernatural strength, I dug deep, I found it, and man, it's just want, it's desire. I want to be here, you know. I want this, so.
Thank you.
You know what I love about that? He said, I would dug deep until I found it. Keep digging until you find it. Don't stop. Dig deep until you found it. Hashtag dig deep till you find it.
Of Nebraska, a double-digit seed through against the former Nittany Lion and now Utah Valley Wolverine Terrell Barraclaw. At 165 pounds, Mikey Caliendo of Iowa, the number 3 seed, advancing also. Parker Keckeisen up 5 plus riding time. 90 seconds to go here in the third. A program that Rock lost their gym a couple of years ago, rebuilt themselves in a local wrestling facility, and Parker Keckeisen has great counsel in his corner with a string of almost a decade straight of titles that they've won in their league at 184 pounds. And the 2019 national champion Drew Foster on staff. There's Doug Schwab, the head coach on the left.
Doug Schwab has done a great job of building a program, and they've dominated this 184-pound weight class. They've always had someone to really represent them. Who's next up when Parker Keckeisen moves on? Still wrestling hard. He's wrestling hard here.
He just doesn't stop. He's got in his room on campus a sign above the door that every time he walks out, on top of that door frame, it says, "Love to fail." He said it used to be taped up on the wall in West Gym, that building now demolished. But for him, it's about enjoying the process, loving to fail, which admittedly has not come often for him, but continuing to try and always asking himself, how can he get better? That's why he doesn't stop here, even up by 7 in the third period.
Well, that's what the best guys do, Mike. They seek out the challenge. One's so risky that they're unsure if they're capable of doing it, but they're going in with absolute confidence that I'm going to give it a try. Look at him, still looking to put points on the board. It's bigger than himself. It's about the art, the craft, and about everyone that's invested in him. He's looking to put his team in position to try to climb further and further in those team standings.
He bonused his way through last year's Nationals. 2 more bonuses this Nationals. He's hot.
Rock, that total is 7 matches in a row for him with bonus at the NCAA championships. 7 in a row between Kansas City and Philadelphia. He is mightily impressive. 174-pound quarterfinals are set tomorrow at noon on ESPNU. Lennox Wallach, the former Columbia Lion, trying to dethrone the 2-time NCAA champion Keegan O'Toole. Simon Reynolds, ESPNU. And then later in the night, it'll be 8 Eastern, ESPN2. And then Saturday afternoon, the medal round on ESPNU. And the championships will go from 8 mats down to 1. Saturday night, 7 Eastern here on ESPNU. Tomorrow, of course, it'll be another great day to have Matcast. This is a dual screen opportunity, maybe more. You can have it in as many screens as you want. Every mat and every match throughout the course of the championships. We're bringing you the highlights here, but of course, 8 mats going at once. And Shane Sparks, Trent Hidley, the former NC State All-American, carry you through the action there as well. Available exclusively on ESPN+. Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. My cousins Jordan Burroughs, Rock Harris, and Quint Kesnick down mat side as our action continues here to our upper 2 weights. For the right to wrestle tomorrow in the winner's bracket in the quarterfinals, Jacob Cardenas of Michigan against Evan Bates of Northwestern. 1-0 lead for the number 1 seed here with under 2 minutes to go.
Jacob Cardenas shoots doubles, and then he tilts you. He's got to work his way through. Be patient here. And going to just flip over. Nice.
Cardenas a winner by major decision in the first round. This year's Big Ten champion and transferred from Cornell, as the Ivy League does not allow graduates to compete in athletics. And given some good strength to this Michigan lineup at 97 that didn't qualify a competitor at this weight in either of the last 2 NCAA tournaments.
And Michigan's found a lot of success over the last couple of seasons from the transfer portal. We had guys like Nick Sirianno, D'Agostino, Shane Griffin, Jacob Cardenas, Lucas Davis, and all of these guys that they've had to come into their program. And now Jacob Cardenas is into this lineup, and he's doing a phenomenal job, finding himself in a little bit closer of a match than we'd expected after winning the Big Ten championship 2 weeks ago, but doing a great job riding. Look at him float the hips, get back to the body.
Still in control because he's got his arm around the middle of the back, past the middle back. Now it's one neutral.
And riding time's not a factor here, so Bates is still in this match.
The question is, does he believe it? He may see, but does he really believe it? He can win this match.
We saw ourselves in a scenario just like this with Allred and Berge. 4-1, short time left in the match. Attacking, trying to get to the legs, and look at that, smart, wise, turned himself back to the center.
He's moving his feet, which is always something that you hear from coaches. Move your feet. When you move your feet, it's harder to get a gauge on where your opponent's going to shoot.
This is the 4th time they've met this year, and the Wolverine victorious in all 3 of them, including at the Big Ten Championships, an 8-1 decision. So the gap is narrowed, but the end result is the same.
Cardenas, the #1 seed, continues to move on. Wrestling very solid.
Left side, it's Josh Barr of Penn State, the 4 seed, trailing here in the second against Trey Munoz of Oregon State. And on your right, Stephen Little of Little Rock against Michael Beard of Lehigh. Here at 197 pounds.
Munoz came up from 84, was an All-American. Hasn't had the success that at 197 as he did the other before, but looks like head maybe.
And that was self-inflicted. Self-inflicted there. Went for the double leg, found himself butting heads. And, you know, Trey Munoz was one of those guys who originally committed to wrestle at Arizona State when Chris Pendleton was there. When Chris Pendleton made the move to become the head coach at Oregon State, he made a transition along with him. An All-American in the past, and one of those guys who comes from a rich pedigree of wrestlers. His dad, Mark Munoz, All-American at Oklahoma State.
That's a takedown? That was a takedown? No, they got to wave that off.
Where's your question, Rock?
That's not a takedown. that's
look, rider coaches look equally as confused as you, Rock.
Nah, you gotta look at that and wave that off. You know, you gotta give them a sign like somebody's safe at home.
Meanwhile, Michael Beard of Lehigh, a 2-time All-American, former Penn State Nittany Lion, this year's EIWA champion, putting in good work against Stephen Little.
Stephen Little returned All-American as well.
For the growing Little Rock program in its 6th season, Little, Kentucky native, and his 2nd NCAA tournament. Last year's seeded 9th, finished 7th.
I don't know why they're looking that long. That was not a takedown. At least when they awarded it, it wasn't a takedown. Let's see what the call is.
No takedown.
Yeah, you had to wave that one off.
Good call.
Especially in overtime, so much at stake. You want to be as clear as day.
So between Ruth and Dean, it's 1-1 in overtime.
Dean really put his name. Very good. Cliff Keen, Las Vegas Invitational.
Won a MAC title this year, one of 4 Bronx to bring home a conference crown. And the senior in his first trip to the NCAA tournament.
Now it's time for Little to start what we call the sprint.
It's time for us to see some attacks, huh, Rock? We've seen a lot of oversized snaps, a lot of hand fighting, but that's not putting points on the board. You need to go try to get this guy.
Now, when do you think people should start their sprint? You know, they're real, just go, go, go.
Now, I would say about 30 seconds is where you feel safe enough to go try to get one.
Okay.
You know, he's kind of wasted a lot of time here now. If he gets into a scramble, or if he misses, gets below the ankle or below the knee to an ankle, it's going to take him a little bit longer to finish than he hoped. Right now, he's got to go. We haven't seen him hit a knee one time in this third period.
Looks like Michael Beard is going to be a quarterfinalist.
And looking to be an All-American for the third time. Was 7th at Penn State in 2021, an 8th place finish for the Mountain Hawks last year. After waiting his time at first several years back behind Max Dean, and then transferred from Penn State to Lehigh.
Quick stand up there. 3 seconds. These guys are moving.
That's good wrestling right here. These guys throwing their bodies around, letting it fly in the OT period. I like what I see from both of these guys here. Dean he's trying to make things happen here. And so that's the level of confidence that I like to see there, Rock.
It is.
Knowing he used that entire 30-second period to try to go get a takedown, utilizing the time to try to put points on the board, knowing that he's still trying to score points.
And under a minute to go between the Oregon State Beaver, Trey Munoz, the Penn State Nittany Lion, Josh Barr, who was injured at the Big Ten Championships. One of the question marks coming here for Penn State.
So, riding time is in favor of Ruth right now. So Ruth, if he keeps the score at 0-0, if no one scores, he'll win because of riding time. Meanwhile, Dean has to get to a point where he can get a takedown. And here we have Barr going against an All-American. Munoz, dad was a national champion for Oklahoma State. Munoz's dad, Mark. Now once again, Ruth makes it to the quarterfinals.
So the book of Ruth gets another chapter, trying to be an All-American for the 2nd straight season. And it is sudden victory for Munoz and Barr. Penn State a perfect 18-0 thus far here at the NCAA Championships.
Gut check time right now. Good motion there. Barr is continuing to keep the pressure on the senior. Wide to the senior, just to go
Wise
and circle.
Wise. Trey Munoz is savvy. He's been here before. He understands what's at stake, and he's doing a really good job of alleviating pressure, deflecting hands, circling after his shots, except there, Barr in on the counterattack. He's got to continue to elevate this foot. Look at him fishing his right hand out.
He was putting the palm to the ceiling. By putting the palm to the ceiling, he can fish that arm up.
Yep, he's trying to slip that elbow through. He's got that right foot elevated on his hip, and he's trying to slip that elbow through and come around the waist and gather and collect both legs. There it goes.
And the Nittany Lions remain perfect with just one way to go here in session 2.
Got to be impressed with the freshman. Tough match right there against a very game Munoz. He doesn't look any bit injured from the Big Ten Championships.
No, with the way they talk about it, you got to wait and see for the guys to step on the mat. And here, it's been a long wait for AJ Ferrari to get a return to NCAA wrestling prominence, as he's on top of Virginia Tech's Andy Smith. 4-0 lead for the 2021 true freshman national champion, then at Oklahoma State.
You may look at the score and see it's close, but AJ Ferrari is very dominant. You say, look, he's not scoring a lot of points, but he doesn't put himself in a position a little
What is going on?
He's looking for the roll through tilt. He's trying to leverage his position to get Smith to roll through, but also he likes putting on a show at the same time. Little headstand action there from AJ Ferrari. You know, a few years ago, Rock, when he was a national champion as a freshman, we would have thought he was going to make the most impressive run and be looking for his 3rd or 4th title by now. Right now, he's only a redshirt sophomore. He spent a lot of time outside of wrestling, and not only is he not a cowboy, he finds himself a road runner at Cal University Bakersfield. How the heck did he get here, and how is he back in this tournament wrestling at such a high level at such a long time off?
That's a great question.
And unfortunately, we don't have enough time to answer it tonight. But we can tell you he's the first Cal State Bakersfield wrestler to get a top 3 seed since Stephen Neal back in 1999, who was a 2-time NCAA champion. And then, oh yeah, won 3 Super Bowls on the offensive line with the Patriots. And just missed out on making the 2000 Olympics too. So it's been a while since there's been a wrestler like this for this Bakersfield program.
I love the fact that he's committing to the ride. And that's how he won the national championships, by being very astute with his top wrestling.
Rock's strong, confident, believes in himself, very skilled. He's got good discipline and positions. And really, you know, he's a testament to...
What?
He's going neutral. There's only 7 seconds left.
I don't understand that one. I don't understand that one. Was he going for a major? Yeah, that's. If Q could talk to him, please ask that question. Why did you let him up with 7 seconds left? That there had to be a rationale.
So AJ Ferrari, the first Pac-12 champ at that school since 2021, and trying to be their first All-American since 2010. Solid on top. AJ Ferrari always leaves an impression. Freshman Max McAnally against Chris Boca of Cornell, and Ed Ruth against Parker Kekaz, in the 5-time Big 12 champion and also an NCAA champion. Continuing along at heavyweight, Penn State trying to go a perfect 20-0 in the first 2 sessions. Gavin Hoffman, the former Big Ten heavyweight at Ohio State, with a 3-0 lead at the end of 1. And it's Colton Schultz, a multiple-time All-American, up 5-0 third period over Luke Luffman of Illinois.
There's a serious size difference between Kirkfleet and Hoffman.
Yeah, like you mentioned, Hoffman came in at 184 pounds when he first arrived in college. Now he finds himself at heavyweight. But Kirkfleet, he's grown tremendously. In this weight class, man, we've had some big guys in here. Mason Paris, Nick Feldman, Wyatt Hendrickson, Gable Steveson. These are some big boys in this weight class, and wrestling extremely well. But I tell you what, when I saw, or when anyone saw, especially at this weight class, that Gable Steveson was coming back, the fans got excited, but all of his competitors were like, oh no, oh no.
We keep talking about how much of a generational type of talent he is at heavyweight. Have you seen a heavyweight quite like him?
Well, he's the greatest heavyweight of all time. I believe I can say that with confidence. That any heavyweight across any era, I feel like if we put them head-to-head with Gable Steveson, I don't see how anyone could beat him. I just don't see how you can beat him. How can you slow him down? How can you get to him? It's extremely difficult. We haven't seen him lose in so extremely long, and even when he did to Cassara as a freshman, it was on a, we talk about that call, that hand coming across the middle of the back for exactly 1 minute riding time. Right? That was his last loss in this game. Olympic champion, NFL football player, WWE superstar, and now back into a position to find himself as a 3-time NCAA champion. It's incredible what he's been able to put together.
Of all time. I'm going through my mind of all the heavyweights.
Break your brain about the greatest heavyweights of all time. I guess you could start in college wrestling. You can think about guys like Steve Mocco.
Yeah.
The time Kyle Snyder spent here. Nick Wisdowski. Another guy, Stephen Neal, Bruce Baumgartner. You think about the international level. Kerry McCoy. There's a lot of great competition up there. But I just have never seen anyone quite like him.
So Kirklees finishes out the victory. 5 minutes, 1 second of riding time. Continuing his pursuit to get back to the top of the podium. #1 last year. And the only loss he's taken over the last 2 seasons was in the Big Ten Championships this year against Gable Steveson. Colton Schultz, a loser in the Big 12 finals against Wyatt Hendrickson, but victorious against Luke Luffman to advance for the Arizona State Sun Devil. He has just been consistently tremendous throughout the course of his career, trying to be an All-American for the 5th time this year. 3rd seeded Seth Shumate is into the quarters against the #2 seed Stephen Buchanan, the 3-time transfer to the University of Iowa. Wyatt Hendrickson makes just about everything he does look easy on the wrestling mat. The transfer from the Air Force Academy, now in his first and only season at Oklahoma State, where he's going to pursue his wrestling ambition through the world-class athlete program to the Olympics in 2028. Him against Max Venadia of Michigan State, first period in his first match.
He has world and Olympic aspirations, and everyone knows that he's pretty explosive on his feet, but he is rough on top. That's a hard crossface there.
Hard crossface, looking for the bundle. Getting Tinker exposed. And look at that forearm right across the chin, walking to the head, and look at him settle back. Now he'll scoop the head.
He really helps out Oklahoma State with their bonus points. My goodness. Good fight there by Tinker.
Right to the quarter, Nelson. Not giving him a break.
That wears you out to fight off the back like that.
And what a contrast in styles between the 1 and the 2 seed. We talk about Gable Stevenson's, how fleet he is with his feet. He moves extremely well, usually a takedown technician, but Hendrickson's the opposite. All he needs is 1 takedown. If he can get on top of you, he's typically going to pin you. Crossface cradle, bundle, half Nelson, armbar. One of the more technically savvy guys here at this weight class from the mat position.
Doing a good job.
Wyatt Hendrickson, if he can pull it off here, he's won by fall in 4 of his last 5 matches, which, by the way, in theory, are a step up in competition in the Big 12s. He went pin, pin, pin decision against Colton Schultz, 8-5, and nearly has won this match by fall against Trevor Tinker of Cal Poly. Still has his 5-year commitment to the Air Force, though, as an acquisitions officer once he's done. So he told us earlier this year, as long as he's wrestling, that service clock doesn't start. So after this, however he finishes here, it'll be 3 years at the Cowboy RTC in Stillwater, hoping to make the Olympic team in LA in 2028. So active duty as a 2nd lieutenant, working for his MBA and working for a fall.
Who does this? I mean, this is against grown men at heavyweight, and he's just roughing them over. Man.
Incredible, incredible. And I've noticed it looks like when he goes crossface to the far tricep, almost looks like he's got his hand planted looking for crossface cradle. When they start to turn that hip down, then he just bundles it up, runs toward their head, puts him to the back. That's the 2nd fall I've seen him use that same sequence today.
That's a good series. Good point.
Perhaps it only makes sense that the native of Newton, Kansas, would be a guy who wins by fall quite a bit. In an ACC showdown, Isaac Trumbull of NC State over Dayton Pitzer of Pittsburgh 4-2. It was Pitzer with a first-round win over Cleveland State's Daniel Bucknavich, coming off of an ACC title, his first this year.
Pitzer upset Trumbull in the semifinals. Seemed like Trumbull has righted some of the wrongs that he had in the first match that they had. And Trumbull he was a big 97-pounder. He's around 240, and he has a style that's really good for heavyweight.
Well, it's good to see that he's okay, too, for Trumbull, because he had a brace on his leg at the ACC Championships, contested at Duke University this year, had that injury default, but this is his third trip to NCAAs. Guy now being an All-American after an Olympic red shirt last year.
That claw ride is something. It opens up so much from a claw ride. When we say claw ride, it's when the person on the top, they go underneath the armpit and grabs the trapezius muscle across the body.
Rock, we're in a new era with the heavyweight. It's no longer just a big guy that just labors around and hand fights like two polar bears wrestling. These guys are active, they're mobile, they're athletic. Trumbull, Hendrickson, Stevenson, Kirkfleet, all these guys can move very, very well for their size.
I want more of Dr. Rock. I want full muscle names.
Trapezius.
Trapezius. Latissimus dorsi. Sounds like a Harry Potter spell after a while. Fellas, pretty solid first day here.
Hey, it's usually this round you start to see separation, but not just separation, you start to see the upsets. Cinderella is still having hopes to become All-Americans and national champs.
So our heavyweight bracket, of course, it'll be Gable Stevenson, whose last loss was in the 2019 NCAA tournament. That will be one to see against Colton Schultz. Ben Keeter of Iowa, Owen Treffin of Lehigh, Greg Kirkfleet, last year's champion, against Josh Heinzelman of Michigan, and then Isaac Trumbull against Wyatt Hendrickson from Oklahoma State. The Penn State Nittany Lions in pursuit of a 12th team title in the last 14 seasons. Don't know if this has ever happened before. Somebody called Jason Bryant 20-0. Everybody, all of their 10 guys into the quarters. Keegan O'Toole, he wrestled some close matches, but he showed that he's got more heart than just about anybody else out there on the mat. It is never over until 7 minutes are done. And you like chaos? Well, 17 double-digit seeds are on to the quarterfinals, highlighted by Lennox Wallach and Gabe Solers in the upper weights. We're back with you tomorrow, noon Eastern on ESPNU for the quarterfinals. Don't forget, MatCast is also available every mat. You select what you watch there on ESPN+. And then the semifinals, we're joined tomorrow night by Daniel Cormier here in the booth as well. We're on ESPN2 tomorrow evening, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. For all of us here in Philadelphia, Quinn Kesnick down on the mats, Rock Harrison, Jordan Burroughs, I'm Mike. Until tomorrow from Philly, now it's time for SportsCenter.